What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
3BH. Chapter 51I, Gentle, Decisive. Advertisement. Troy's troops are all very good ninjas. Whether it is actual combat experience or mutual cooperation, they are impeccable. The most important thing is that Troy is also the owner of Blood Succession Boundary and Magnetic Escape. If he is to let Hefeng stand upright, he is not too sure. But the good thing is, Troy's primary goal is Sarutobi Hitoshi, and the secondary goal is Uzumaki Ashina. As for Hefeng and Shuamao, he didn't care about it at all. How could two 7 or 8-year-old children be Union Village's opponents? This is not to underestimate the enemy, let alone careless. It is an inference based on common sense. The third door, the life door, open. Hefeng grabbed his fists with both hands and the chakra broke out between the pillars. He drove to the gate in one breath. The white skin turned red due to hyperemia, the muscles of his arms burst into blue veins, and the whole body radiated green energy. Both power and speed have been greatly improved. Saku Shigeru and Yuna's eyes were instantly attracted by the gentle breeze. That's what? Shuo Mao's eyes widened. With an unbelievable look, he felt that the current gentleman was just like two people. Especially the green energy he radiated, dissolving the oppression Shuo Mao felt from Yun Ren. Why? And the wind has such a terrifying power. Shuo Mao rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. Once again, he realized the gap between himself and Hefeng. And, seeing Hefeng's bending of one knee, Shuo Mao instantly realized his plan. Hefeng, are you planning to fight those 5 Yunren? Even if Hefeng has the status of the grandson of the pillars, such a thing is still too unbelievable in Shuo Mao's view. After all, he Breeze is just a ninja. Whether it is combat thinking or actual combat experience, it is far from being comparable to Zhang Ren. But there was neither confusion nor fear in his eyes, even. Shuo Mao felt strong confidence from Hefeng. This guy. Is it really Shinobu who is 1 year younger than himself? It's too bad. Although Yuna is not as good as Tsukumo and can't see so many details, but looking at her from the back of the wind, she feels that the boy in front of her is unusually reliable. And, from the body of the wind, Yuna felt a great sense of security. As long as he stands in front of him, no one can hurt him. Advertisement. And the Zongren of Union Village felt their scalp numb. The little demon in front of him looked only 7 or 8 years old, and he was clearly a child. Why, he would have such an exaggerated, majestic chakra. Even Captain Troy, there is no such an exaggerated chakra. Is it a transformation technique? He is actually not a 7-year-old kid at all. One Zhang couldn't help exclaiming, but he quickly rejected this idea. Maybe, in the beginning, Hefeng might use transfiguration to disguise himself. But he doesn't need to maintain the transformation technique to fight. This just shows that Hefeng doesn't use transformation skills at all. He is indeed a 7-year-old kid. How is this possible? A 7-year-old Konoha shinobu possesses a chakra even more terrifying than an elite shinobu. And his body, what kind of ninjutsu is that? Wait, am I scared? One of them, Yun Ren, found his hands trembling constantly. In fact, not only him, but the 5 Zongren who followed Troy were all deterred by the chakra that broke out in the breeze. Even if they don't want to admit the fact that they were scared by a 7-year-old kid. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, but the murderous aura bursting out of Hefeng's body made them feel terrified. Actually, had it not been for the Japanese wind they were staring at as a 7-year-old child, they would definitely treat the ninja who released this level of chakra as Konoha's elite Shangnan. Bang! The gentle wind instantly smashed the ground, leaving a crack like a spider web, and then rushed to a Yun Ren. This is not actual combat training. It's a fight between the 2 great shinobu villages. Kindness, compassion, nothing at all. If you don't solve them here, the injured will be me and my companions. Hefeng warned himself inwardly. This is not a ninja game. Either solve the enemy or be solved by the enemy. There is no third option. He must kill decisively. The most important thing is that my current body is not strong enough to maintain the 8-door Dunjia for a long time. This battle must be done quickly. Hefeng's eyes condensed slightly, and then he grabbed his fist with his 5 fingers. The toughest enemy is Troy, who has a magnetic escape. Advertisement. His fighting power alone may be even more powerful than these 5 Zongren. I must save my strength to deal with him. In that case, Duman, open. At the moment when his fist was about to swing out, Hefeng opened the wound door one after another, Duman. Finally, cooperate with the strange force to use the cherry blossoms. Boom. A loud noise like thunder exploded in Hefeng's ears, and Yun Ren who was hit by him, the iron armor on his chest sank in an instant, and one of the ribs in his body was considered all broken. However, long before the broken ribs squeezed into his internal organs, his vital organs were already hit hard by the impact of Sakura. Puff. Zhang Ren's body flew upside down like a kite with a broken wire, spouting blood from his mouth. What's even more incredible is, before the blood was spilled on Hefeng, he had disappeared in the same place. What's more terrifying is, Hefeng doesn't have any instantaneous technique at all, he just uses the way of running, moving at high speed. By the way, the air was stirred, and the earth was torn apart. Doman's damage is really exaggerated. Hefeng couldn't help sighing in his heart. If he hadn't inherited the Muji healing between the pillars, he would probably fall because he couldn't bear the damage when he solved the first enemy. However, the powerful Muji cure gave him the capital to continue fighting. No, don't come here. The ninja in Union Village showed a terrified expression, waving his hands indiscriminately, wanting to retreat from the wind and keep him away from him. But, for the first time they have witnessed the 8 doors of Dunjia art, how can they catch the breeze in their sight? All of a sudden, these 4 Zongren became targets for testing the strength of the Japanese style. It hurts my feet. Hefeng's right leg was raised above his head, aimed at the shoulder of the second ninja, and slammed down. Boom. Another burst of sound exploded, and the ninja's bones broke on the spot, and his body fell straight, vomiting blood, twitched twice and stopped moving. Then the third, the fourth. In the face of the breeze that uses strange power and Baman Dunjia, they have no ability to resist. The only remaining Zhang Ren, as if going mad, he clung to Kuwu and went straight to Shuamao. It seemed that he wanted to desperately kill Konoha's Sha Ren before he was dealt with. But, Hefeng will give him a chance again there. Soon, the wind flashed in front of the 5th ninja, and a dragon fist shattered his jaw. Chapter 52 Zephyr vs. Troy. Advertisement. The Kid of Konoha. Troy was dumbfounded, staring at the breeze below. He never dreamed that the situation on the scene would change drastically. Zhang Ren, who followed her, was hit by the breeze in an instant. His power, his speed, his chakra volume, can really be described as terrifying. The most frightening thing is that Hefeng seems to be only 7 or 8 years old. Although in the Warring States period, it is not strange to push children of this age on the battlefield. But at this age, a genius with such strength. In Troy's cognition. Unique. At the same time, Uzumaki Ashina was pierced in the hinterland by a square shuriken, fell to the ground, and then pulled out the shuriken to stop the bleeding. At the critical moment, Sarutobi Hizen used the wind to escape, forcing the square shuriken flying towards him to deflect, and then condensed the chakra to the soles of his feet, stepped on it, and ejected himself with the help of reaction force. Of course, part of the reason Sarutobi was able to succeed was because Troy did not expect Hefeng to be so powerful. It caused him to be stunned for a while, losing control of the opponent's shuriken. Nice work, gentle wind. Sarufe glanced back at the direction of the wind, and found that all the ninjas had been dealt with by him, and he was relieved immediately. If the ninjas and Troy were to form horns, the consequences would be disastrous. However, no matter how many times I watch it, he feels like a monster. Sarutobi rolled his throat and couldn't help sighing in his heart. A 7-year-old Sha Ren, with his own power, faced 5 well-trained Zhang Ren, and it didn't take any effort to kill all of them. The most important thing is that no matter how simulated the actual combat training is, there is a gap between it and the real fight. Hefeng not only has a strong strength, but also a big enough heart. Is that the grandson of the original Hokage-sama? A storm raged in Ashina's heart. Dealing with 5 Zongren at the same time, he was actually not very sure about solving each other. If you don't consider Miss Yuna, he will probably retreat without looking back. It is wise to throw away the enemy. But, the grandson of the original Hokage-sama, solved them so easily. Advertisement. Had it not been known that Hefeng was only 7 years old, Ashina would have regarded him as Konoha's shinobu. And what's the matter with that weird speed? I can't catch my sight at all. In Ashina's view, the way of movement of the wind is clearly to disappear in the same place, and then flash to another location. It looks like a very skilled instantaneous technique. But, every time the gentle breeze moves, it lifts the air, creates an impact, and slaps it toward the ground. And this unconscious impact shattered the earth in an instant. Judging from the torn ground, Feng really didn't use any instantaneous technique. It's just that his moving speed is too fast. Ashina's eyes widened, and he sat paralyzed on the ground, his eyes fixed on Hefeng's small body. At this moment, Ashina's knowledge of physical skills completely collapsed. Actually, after developing the 8-door repelling technique, it was discovered that no one could bear the damage caused by this technique. So it was listed as a forbidden technique. Until, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, he discovered that Medbo had exercised his muscle strength to an exaggerated level through the devil training method, and then taught him the 8 doors of Dunjia art. Based on this relationship, the entire ninja realm does not know the existence of the 8 doors Dunjia art. How did Hefeng do it? Ashina's shocked emotions could not be calmed for a long time. He feels that the breeze is a monster. An outlier. But, I have to admit that the current gentle breeze gave him a great sense of security. As long as the gentle breeze is here, there will be nothing wrong with Ms. Arena. It took Troy a long time before he calmed down. He asked Shang Hefeng with a low voice, the move you just used is physical skill, right? As far as Troy is concerned, he now feels that the wind is more difficult than Sarutobi. In any case, he still has the intelligence of Sarutobi, knowing that he is an almighty ninja with 5 attributes of chakra. And, through the medium of square shuriken, he transferred the magnetization to Sarutobi. So Sarutobi is not a concern. It's a gentle breeze instead. I don't know anything about him. Advertisement. That weird way of moving and terrifying power, if hit by him, I am afraid that my body will be unbearable. You have to think of a way to magnetize his body. However, when Troy was formulating his tactics to deal with the wind that was firmly locked in his line of sight suddenly disappeared. Troy's eyes widened, his heart beat faster, almost instinctive of his body, he moved to another position using the instantaneous technique. I saw the Japanese 5 fingers grabbing a fist and slamming it on the spot. Troy seized this opportunity and threw 4 square shurikens to the breeze at the same time. Is this the strength of Shangnan? Feng was surprised. Whether it was his speed or the timing of his attack, he thought he was impeccable. If you change to Danzo, this punch will definitely tell the winner. But Troy, he just reacted. It's awful. Sarutobi cried out secretly. In order to hit Troy, Hefeng jumped up from the ground, and now his body was in the air, and there was nothing to step on under his feet to move. If he encounters a square shuriken, his body will be magnetized. This is also the reason why Madbo's physical skills are very strong, but it is only Zongren. Not every ninja relies on martial arts to determine the outcome. In desperation, Sarutoi quickly formed seals with both hands and used a water dragon to push the wind away. But at this moment, Sarutobi, now is not the time to worry about others. Troy's voice rang in his ears, and Kuu directly hit his neck. Although Sarutobi responded in the best way, he was kicked firmly in the abdomen. And at this time he realized that Troy standing behind him was actually a clone of Thunder Dungeons. And his real body is preparing to kill Hefeng first. You are indeed the scariest Konoha imp that I have ever seen. If there is no blood inheritance limit, and the keen intuition of fighting with the enemy hundreds of times, I can never be your opponent. But your greatest misfortune is that you met me at this age. You have no chance to grow up. Troy yelled at the gentle breeze, took out all the scrolls with both hands, channeled countless shurikens from it, and circled some of them around him. Form a 360-degree defensive effect with no dead ends. In this way, no matter how fast the speed of the breeze is, it is impossible for his fist to hit him. And Troy controlled hundreds of shurikens, swung it like rain, and went straight to the breeze. At the moment, Jingmun, open. Chapter 53 Oiler. Advertisement. Troy is really good. Zefeng looked directly at Troy who was standing on the ground. Not only did he dodge his own attack, but he also found a way to restrain the 8 doors Dunjia. Using the magnetic escape of the blood succession boundary, Troy surrounds him with 3-layer shurikens around him, like a barrier. With Troy as the center point, the radius of the magnetic escape barrier is at least about 8 meters. This means that even if Hefeng breaks through the first layer of shuriken by virtue of its speed advantage, the second layer of shuriken will immediately surround him. As long as Kazuka's body touches Troy's ninja, he will be magnetized by the shuriken in an instant. When the time comes, Troy throws square shurikens casually. The ninja will attract each other with the wind. Once his body is floating and there is nowhere to exert force, it is difficult to avoid Troy's attack. It's really worthy of being a shinobu who has the limits of blood succession. Feng couldn't help but sigh. And Troy also sighed with the terror of the wind. For the future of Union Village, I must destroy you here. Troy still understands the truth of the trade-offs. A genius ninja as terrifying as Hefeng is unique in the entire ninja world. If he is allowed to continue to grow, he will definitely become the next Shinsho Zuma. Thinking of this, Troy used the magnetic evasion technique to the fullest. Hundreds of shurikens swung like rain, rushing to the breeze. It's awful. Sarufei's eyes widened. In his opinion, Hefeng and Troy had the worst affinity. Once those shurikens touch the wind, his body will be magnetized. At that time, the wind is the fish that was slaughtered by Troy at will. However, worried that Sarutobi would destroy his offensive, Troy deliberately used Thunder Dun to create a clone. Upon seeing Sarutobi's hands forming a seal, Troy's Lei Dun clone quickly rushed up, brandishing a square shuriken to attack the opponent. As for Shumao and Yuna, they couldn't do anything except watch hundreds of shuriken attacking the wind. With their strength, they can't intervene in this level of battle at all. Go to hell, Konoha's kid. Troy let out a low growl, as if he had foreseen the death of Zefeng. I have to say that the current Zephyr has indeed been forced into a desperate situation. It is true that in front of the magnetic escape ninja, the advantage of physical skills will be infinitely reduced, but my limit is not Duman. Feng clenched his fists with both hands, guiding chakra to break through the 6th restriction in his body. Jingmun, open. Advertisement. As Hefeng opened the scene door, his body entered a semi-buffered state, and the burst of airflow blocked the shuriken that first rushed in front of him. Soon, Hefeng stepped hard on his toes and jumped directly into the air, with his fists ready to go. The ninjas who noticed this scene were all dumbfounded. Hefeng, what are you doing? Sarutobi dilated his pupils, unable to understand Hefeng's approach. For Troy, who possesses the limits of blood succession, those shurikens are like his hands and feet. With one thought can chase down the enemy. The most sensible way is to use the increased speed of the 8-door Dunjia to get rid of Troy's magnetic escape, and then find a chance to fight back. Now jumping into the air is tantamount to giving up the advantage of movement speed. In other words, the current Zephyr is undoubtedly the living target of Troy. What is he doing? Why doesn't he use ninjutsu? Ashina couldn't help exclaiming. According to his actual combat experience, facing a ninja like Troy, obviously using ninjutsu for long-range attacks is the safest solution. Why does Hefeng have to stick to physical skills to fight? But soon, Uzumaki Ashina reacted. Is it possible that the wind can only be physical skills? Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Not bad. Sarutobi kicked Troy's Lei Dun avatar, and then signed with both hands, trying to push the wind from the air with a water dragon ball, and at the same time explained to Ashina. Hefeng is from the village that he returned to half a month ago. During this time, he has been learning physical skills from Mabo and has not had a chance to get in touch with ninjutsu. It's not that he lacks such combat thinking, but that he can't use any ninjutsu. Just when Sarutobi finished the penultimate seal, the clone of Lei Dun, who was kicked out by him, caught up again and interrupted his Shui Dun. Both Shumao and Yuna had unbelievable expressions, staring at the breeze in the sky. Not without ninjutsu, but he doesn't know how to ninjutsu at all. No wonder this kid has never used ninjutsu. The corner of Troy's mouth raised, and a triumphant smile appeared. It's a pity, I have such a terrifying amount of chakra, but I don't know any ninjutsu. Ended. Troy made a loud noise, confident of his victory. However, the breeze, who was forced into desperation by Troy in the air, was at ease. Is it really? Hefeng smiled, his fists accumulated enough power. In Duman's state, he really has nothing to do with Troy. Advertisement. I really don't know how to ninjutsu. Not even illusion. But, after opening the king gate, it is not that I have no means of remote attack. Hefeng remained in the air, his eyes condensed slightly, staring at the shurikens flying towards him. Then, throw a punch. Toward the peacock. Although no one has developed a peacock in this era, but the wind is a traverser. The principle of toward the peacock is so simple as to have no brains. As long as the attack speed reaches a certain level, it can rub the air to form a fireball. Yula ola ola ola. Hefeng uttered low roars, cheering for his moves, waving his fists with both hands, frantically increasing his attack speed. It hurts. Soon, Hefeng had to grit his teeth, and the damage caused by Jingmun was even more exaggerated than he had imagined. But this time is different from actual combat training. Either kill Troy yourself, or they are destroyed by the Troy regiment. And so, regardless of the damage to the Jingmun, the gentle breeze must complete the peacock. Fire! Fire escape! Troy's proud expression froze for an instant, he didn't even dream of it. The wind can create a lot of flames. No, this is not Huo Dun, this is. Sarutobi Hitoshi was dumbfounded on the spot, he neither saw the Japanese wind seal, nor could he perceive chakra from among the peacocks. Although this looks incredible, but the wind seems to be the way of punching, rubbing the air to create a flame. Is it possible? Shumo, Ashina, and Nana, the three said in unison. But the fact is before them. Hefeng did it. The gentle wind directly rushed towards the peacock and scattered hundreds of shurikens and rushed towards Troy. And the shuriken enchantment he used to defend and win physique became a prison for him at this time. Troy cannot retreat, cannot hide. Rumble. Along with the roar, Troy was swallowed by the rain of fire and killed instantly. Chapter 54 Gentle Breeze, hold on to me. Advertisement. Hefeng shook his fists continuously, ignoring the damage Jingmun caused to his body. And the flames scattered from the fists dyed the sky red, as bright as the sunrise, and as dazzling as the tail feathers of a peacock. It is precisely because of such expressive power that this trick will get the name Xiao Peacock. Everyone present took a breath, and their eyes were filled with shock and sluggishness. If we say that the previous Hefeng was just the eight-door Dunjia that was developed during the period of learning. So now, Hefeng is the creation of a new technique. At least, in Sarutobi's view, this is the case. He didn't even know that there was a ninja named Metke in later generations. Not to mention that Metke had a whim, injecting super fast and super attacking fists into his moves. Based on this idea alone, Xiao Peacock was created by Metke. 7-year-old Zephyr can not only open the sixth of the 8 doors, but also create a new technique on this basis. Sarutobi's eyes widened, and there was a storm in his heart. He can't understand, and even more can't believe. No matter how talented the heavens are, there must be a limit, right? How long has it taken to learn Bam and Dunjia in Hefeng? How long did it take to master Jingmun? You know, going from 0 to 1 will always be countless times more difficult than going from 1 to 10. How many people spend their entire lives in poverty and can only use techniques invented by others? Toward the peacock, Sarutobi read the name of the move silently. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he couldn't believe it, a 7-year-old Konoha shinobu. Such a terrible technique has been developed. Actually, the development of Xiao Peacock has nothing to do with Hefeng. He just used the take doctrine. But I have to admit that Xiao Peacock is indeed very powerful physical skills. Its 2 records in the original work are very good. Killed 30% of Chakra's ghost shark clones for the first time. The second time, most of the sharks of the ghost shark were wiped out in one fell swoop. It was more than enough to deal with Troy in Union Village. Rumble, accompanied by loud noises, Troy's shuriken enchantment was smashed by the gentle breeze layer by layer. Moreover, Xiao Peacock itself is a physical skill that pursues the ultimate speed. Advertisement. Even if Troy saw countless fireballs blasting at him in his eyes, his body would not have time to dodge. The most important thing is that his carefully arranged shuriken enchantment has become a cage to block him. Let him have nowhere to dodge. This is Konoha's shinobu. In the end, Troy gave up the fight altogether. The power of the wind is beyond his knowledge. He really couldn't understand how Konoha cultivated harmony. This guy, it's like a monster. Before confronting himself, Hefeng defeated the 5 Yun Ren with his own power. This means that Hefeng's strength is strong enough to destroy a ninja troop. Even before and after, he only spent less than half an hour. It's shocking. Immediately, the gentle breeze rushed towards Troy towards the peacock, hitting him in the body continuously. Ah! The scorching fire and strong impact caused Troy to scream and then fell. And those shurikens, losing the control of Troy, fell to the ground one after another. Sarutobi, Ashina, Sakumo, and Yoshina were stunned, and K's eliminated Troy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. But the state of the wind has become very bad. The normal state of Jingmun will leave the body in a semi-buffered state, minimizing the consumption and damage of the body. The purpose is to burst out even more terrifying power when the combat power is fully deployed. With any kind of technique, there are risks. This terrifying power naturally caused great damage to Hefeng's body. The most important thing is that Hefeng has only conducted physical training for more than a week. His body is not strong enough to support the peacock. With the fist just now, the gentle breeze can be said to have forced the body to complete the peacock with a strong will. His muscles, meridians, and collaterals were damaged more severely than ever before. Even the muscles and bones of Hefeng have been damaged. Hefeng's forehead burst into sweat from the pain. As soon as Jingmun was relieved, even greater pain swept through the whole body. He couldn't move and fell to the ground. Oops. Sarufei reacted immediately, ran quickly, then jumped up, and hugged him before he fell to the ground. However, just such a touch will bring intense pain to Hefeng's body. Sarutobi saw this and had to put him on the ground after catching the wind. But Hefeng planned to say something, but found that his body was so painful that he couldn't make a sound. Is this the damage to the peacock? Advertisement. Even if Muji is cured, there is no way to repair the body in a short time. No, it's not a problem that Muji has cured. It's that my body is not strong enough now. After the battle with Troy, Hefeng once again recognized his own shortcomings. There is a gap between him and Metke called physical strength. Just facing the peacock, it will suffer such a big backlash. If you use the day tiger, I am afraid that it will not be an instant fainting due to the severe pain. Moreover, his own Muji cure cannot be compared with Zujian. Although Hefeng has inherited this ability, his level is still very low. If the Muji cure between the pillars is LV10, the Muji cure of the wind is probably only LV1. This was also the first time Hefeng realized that his body was so weak. After I go back, I must strengthen my physical exercises. Hefeng swears secretly in his heart. The punch card package just allows him to extract various skills. But how to use the power of these skills requires constant exercise. This is like a talented person who cannot pass the exam. It takes hard work to pass the exam. Gentle style. Just when Hefeng had to endure this kind of pain, Yuna suddenly shouted his name, swinging his hands, and ran in front of Hefeng. Although the first time I saw Hefeng, Yuna didn't have a good impression of him. I hate that he always calls himself a coward. He also thinks that he is the grandson of the pillars before he becomes a shinobu. But, seeing that Hefeng was fighting to protect himself, even because he was so badly injured, Yuna's state of mind has been transformed. Not only did she not hate the wind, but worried about his injury, she shed tears. On the contrary, Hefeng felt a little helpless. I protect you to complete the task, okay. It's just protecting you indirectly. The reason why I hurt so badly is because if I don't kill Troy, he will kill me. Don't make me seem to be a guy who can't even kill me for a woman. However, Hefeng can only complain in his heart, because he doesn't have the strength to speak at all. But, Yuina's next move was beyond the expectation of the wind. I saw that Minami rolled up her sleeves, exposing her fair skin, and stretched her arms in front of the wind. Hold me, Shumao, who witnessed this scene. Chapter 55, ready to punch the card for the fourth time. Advertisement. Although the breeze is painful and difficult to move, the brain's thinking is still very clear. As soon as he saw Yona's actions, he immediately reacted. One of the abilities of the Maelstrom family is to quickly restore one's own or others' chakras and injuries by biting their own skin. So Kaze opened his mouth slightly, resisting the severe pain in his body, grabbing Nina's skin, biting his teeth hard, and sucking chakra from Nina. This chakra and the Muji of Japanese wind complemented each other and healed his injuries at an unprecedented speed. About 2 or 3 breaths, and the wind feels that the body doesn't hurt so much. After waiting for 5 or 6 breaths, Hefeng fully recovered his vitality. On the contrary, Yuna covered her mouth with her small hand, not wanting to breathe. Uzumaki Ashina hadn't expected that Aina would use this method to treat the Japanese wind, and was stunned for a while. In fact, not every member of the Maelstrom clan will have the ability to be able. Only people with a particularly pure bloodline can use physical energy to heal. Like myself, although both belong to the Maelstrom family, they cannot recover from their injuries by biting themselves. But no matter what, it's very ashamed to be used by people. Especially a lady with status like Arena. So far, she has never helped anyone treat injuries. Even myself, did not enjoy such treatment. This is Miss Arena's first time. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Ashina looked down at his wound. After being pierced by a square shuriken, I am afraid that it hasn't been a month or 2, but I don't want to fully recover. At the same time, Sarutobi hit 3 steps and 2 steps before walking to Troy. Although Hefeng defeated Troy with the peacock, he failed to kill him. Looking at Troy, who was extremely weak, Sarutobi squatted down and took out kunai with one hand. If Troy is left here, he will not give up the mission because of Konoha's kindness. For the ninja, the task is always the first. Even if you sacrifice your companion's life, you must complete it. Both himself and Ashina's bodies were magnetized by Troy. Hefeng's killer has also been exposed. When Troy makes a comeback, they may lose. Your blood inheritance is too tricky. Sarutobi paused for a while. Do you have anything else to say? Troy stared at Sarutobi. He knew in his heart that he would die no matter what angle he considered. Advertisement. If he and Sarutobi change roles, the approach will only be more cruel than him. After all, this is the friction between the two ninja villages due to their differences in tasks. Even if Hokage knew the news of his death, he would not start a war for it. This is the fate of a ninja. However, before dying, Troy wanted to know the identity of Hefeng. That Konaha imp, who on earth is? Troy squeezed out a complete sentence intermittently. Until now, his heart is full of shock. A 7 or 8-year-old kid has the terrifying power to destroy a ninja army. Moreover, in this ninja army, there is also a shinobu who possesses the limits of blood succession. At a young age, talent is so shocking. By the time he was 17, when he was 27. How far will it grow? It is simply unimaginable. From Troy's point of view, the future wind will inevitably become Union Village's strongest enemy. Do not read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, probably the strongest enemy in the entire ninja world. Damn it, why couldn't such a kid be born in Union Village? If he were born in Union Village, he would definitely become the strongest thunder shadow ever. Why, it's Konaha. Sarutobi glanced back at the wind that was already able to stand up, the corners of his mouth rose, and a wry smile appeared. Master Hefeng, strong is like a monster. Before half a month, he was an ordinary kid without any training. Sarutobi said truthfully. Troy couldn't lie anyway. There is nothing to worry about telling him these things. The result was the same as Sarutobi expected. After hearing this, Troy instantly widened his eyes, as if returning to the light, his face was shocked and sluggish. You mean, that Konaha imp, it took only half a month to become so strong. But how is this kind of thing possible? You Konaha, how did you nurture ninjas? Advertisement. Troy felt that his worldview was completely collapsed, and he didn't even know how to imagine the growth of Hefeng. A 7-year-old kid gained the strength to defeat himself in only half a month. This is too ridiculous. Cultivation. Sarutobi shook his head, feeling that the word cultivation was not appropriate. Do you think that such a terrifying power can be cultivated? Master Hefeng, the starting point when he was born is the end that countless ninjas can't see. There is no blood inheritance limit, no family secrets, no majestic chakra volume. Even if such a person becomes a ninja, the endpoint is nothing more than a ninja. Some people can't even pass the Zongjin exam. However, Sarutobi firmly believes in the future of Hefeng. With his talent, I am afraid that he only needs to take an exam to be promoted to Zongjin. A terrifying genius capable of destroying ninja troops is really a terrifying monster. Sarutobi stared at the small figure of Hefeng and let out a long sigh. Well, Troy, you should be on the road. After that, Sarutobi Hizen turned around, waved kunai, and slit Troy's throat. In order to confirm that what he killed was not the clone of Troy, Sarutobi stared at Troy, watching his blood drain and his pupils dilated, and then checked his vital signs again. Now, Troy is already dead. Sarutobi took a deep breath, made sure that there was nothing wrong, then straightened up, walked towards Hefeng and the others, and then took away the suffering. Speaking of which, in a few days, it will be the day for Zongjin selection. Suddenly, Sarutobi muttered to himself as if thinking of something, his eyes focused on Hefeng. I don't know if it is his illusion, he feels that Master Fagian has made Hefeng become a ninja at this time and perform the task. It's not a coincidence. Of course, the current Hefeng didn't know anything about the Nakanin selection test. He moved his muscles a bit and found that his body had completely recovered. Has it been resolved? Feng asked specially when he noticed that Sarutobi had returned. Since he is a ninja from the enemy village, he should cut the roots. After getting an affirmative answer from Sarutobi, Feng nodded slightly. It seems that in the next journey, you should not encounter ninjas again. Correct. Feng blinked, then glanced at the cooling time of the punch card system. Send Nana to Uzumaki country, and then return to Konaha, just in time for the 4th time to punch in. Chapter 56 Nakanin Selection Examination. Advertisement. After solving Troy, Hefeng never encountered the ninja sent by Union Village in the following days. If the guess is correct, Hokage in Union Village should have only sent 2 ninja troops to kidnap Uzumaki Yuna. When they realized that Troy had failed, Feng estimated that he had already returned to Konaha. Because of the monitor of the peace agreement between the pillars. Regarding this loss, Lei Ying could only be a dumb-eating cactus, and there was no way to tell. What Feng didn't expect was, from the beginning, he was resistant to himself. After the battle with Troy, he seemed to be a different person. Not only will I call myself and brother Feng, but also talk to myself from time to time. Although Hefeng doesn't hate this situation, he doesn't like it. Coupled with the fact that he didn't encounter enemies all the way, the rest of the day was easy. Before they knew it, the group arrived at the Uzumaki village in Uzumaki Kingdom. As the head of the patriarch, Uzumaki Ashina intended to entertain Kazuo and others, and hoped that they could stay in Uzumaki village for a few more days to express his gratitude. But it was rejected by Sarutobi. In the end, Hefeng only had lunch in Guian village, rested for an afternoon, and then returned to Konaha with Sarutobi. On the way back, Hefeng did not forget to complain, there is no need to rush back to the village in such a hurry. But in any case, Sarutobi was the captain of the 7th squad. For decision-making matters, Hefeng and Shumo had to obey his command. This is also the part that I have explained deliberately. After all, Hefeng is only 7 years old now. Although he showed a monster-like talent, he was shocked again and again. However, because of preconceived notions, I feel that the ideology of harmony is not mature enough and needs to be cultivated. If you hand over the command to Hefeng, maybe something will happen. Haha, Huiyan village is really good, but if you miss the Zongren selection exam for this, you can only wait for the coming year. Sarutobi thought for a while, and took this opportunity to bring up the Zongren exam. Whether it is his learning talent, combat thinking, actual combat experience, and psychological quality. They all acted like monsters. If you are the shinobu in charge of the Japanese wind, you will definitely not let the Japanese wind miss this Nakanobu exam. I think that the reason why Master Shuima appointed Hefeng as Shinran at this time was to allow Hefeng to take this Zongren exam. Sarutobi couldn't help but sigh with emotion. With the mind of Master Fagian, it is not difficult at all to calculate every step that Hefeng needs to take. Zhongren exam. Shuo Mao couldn't help being stunned. The expression on his face seemed to say, what does the Zhongren exam have to do with us? Advertisement. Didn't I and Hefeng just become Sha Ren? You should not be eligible to take the Chunin exam, right? Yes, it was the Zongren exam. Sarutobi nodded, then proceeded to popular science. Now is the 10th year in the history of the Warring States period. The families have put aside their hatred of each other and formed the Shinobu village. It's worth mentioning that the first person to establish Shinobu village was the gentle grandfather, Lord Majima. Don't look at Master Zuma often being suppressed by Master Shuma. Once he gets serious, he is quite powerful. He is the only one who is hailed as the god of ninjas. Sarutobi flaunted. Shuamao's eyes suddenly radiated light, with a look of admiration on his face. On the contrary, Hefeng's performance is very calm. It is not that he does not believe in Sarutobi, but on the contrary. Except for Uchiha Madara, Kazuka felt that no one knew the strength of the column better than himself. Once you get serious, is it pretty powerful? Is that super awesome? We flattened a Shinobu village in minutes. And such a big man as his own grandfather. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. However, the establishment of the ninja village is only the first step, and how to improve the ninja village system is also a subject of knowledge. For example, Muya Village, Union Village, Wuin Village, Yenian Village, and Cheyenne Village, which are now called the 5 great ninja villages. Just use different methods to train ninjas. And the promotion system created by Master Fagian is an exam. All children can go to ninja school, learn knowledge, and become a ninja after passing the graduation exam. Sarutobi paused for a while, and deliberately sold it. And then, wait until Shuamao can't wait to ask the following. Sarutobi continued, after becoming Shijinin, as long as you complete 8 tasks, you will be eligible to take the Zongnen exam. Of course, the premise is that you have a recommendation from Shangjin. The Nakkanen exams are conducted twice a year, and 1 week later, on July 1st, the second Nakkanen exams of this year will be taken. If you miss this one, you can only wait for next year. So, do you still want to stay in Guian village for a few more days? Sarutobi finally said jokingly. So that's it. Shumao nodded slightly and reacted, as long as we complete 7 more ninja missions, we can take this exam. There is only 1 week left. Because there is no need to protect a client like Nina, the time it takes to return to Konoha is much faster than going to the country of Uzumaki. If you run at full speed, you can return to the village in about 2 days. Advertisement. Then, in the next 5 days, complete 7 ninja missions. There is a 4th time to check in. Feng took a deep breath. Since he could catch up with this Zongnen exam, he naturally had no reason to miss it. The most important thing is that you can immediately check in for the 4th time. At that time, you can shine again in the Zongnen exam. My goal is to replace Sarutobi as the 3rd generation of Hokage, hiding my strength, which is simply the opposite. I want everyone to know how terrifying my talent is. Let them realize that I am the most suitable person to inherit the name of Hokage. Thinking of this, Hefeng began to move his muscles and bones, and then toward Sarutobi, Shumo said, let's return to the village soon too. The country of Vortex. Woyan village. The old patriarch Uzumaki Luna received Ashina alone and learned from him what happened along the way. I didn't expect that the guys in Union village would actually be eyeing the abilities of our Maelstrom family. Ashina clenched his fists involuntarily, and anger grew in his heart. In his opinion, the reason why Union village dared to be so messed up was mostly related to the terminal illness between the pillars. Although Jian is very good, but the strength is far less terrifying than Zhu Jian. In the future, the world of ninja, I am afraid it will become more turbulent. Thanks to you this time, and Konaha's Sarutobi son / I didn't let Yuna fall into Union village's hands. You did a great job, Ashina. Lu Ming said in praise. However, Ashina, who knelt in front of him on one knee, couldn't help but startled. The reason why the danger was turned into a breeze this time is actually, thanks to Master Hefeng. Ashina paused, and then recounted the process of fighting Feng and Yunren. At the beginning, Ashina still had a smile on his face, but as Ashina told him, the smile on his face turned into astonishment, and then from astonishment to horror. Finally, it changed from horror to silence. What does it mean that the 7-year-old Hefeng killed the ninja troops in Union village by himself? Are you sure you are not in the illusion? Had a hallucination. Uzumaki Ashina wanted to complain, so much. Chapter 57. I once had a close friend, he was called Madara. Advertisement. After 2 days of rushing, Feng finally saw the gate of Konaha village. However, what he didn't expect was that Grandpa Zuma was wearing haori and was leaning on the gate of Konaha village at this time. It's like waiting for someone. The gentle wind gradually slowed down and walked over slowly. But Sarutobi took 3 steps and 2 steps, bowed his head towards the pillars, Master Naruto of the 1st generation. Shuamao's eyes widened suddenly. He never dreamed that he would see the first generation of Hokage in such a place. And along the way, he told Sarutobi about the deeds of the pillars. For the current Shumao, Shinshozuma is like a god. But, although Shuamao was excited, he was still not confused about the situation. It is naturally impossible for a big person like Zujian to appear here to welcome oneself. It must be because of the gentle breeze. Shuamao glanced at Hefeng's profile, and couldn't help but become envious. I'm back, son slash, haha, it doesn't need to be so formal, anyway, I can't be regarded as Hokage anymore. He put his hands around his chest and laughed loudly. He has never had the airs that the ninja god should have. Oh, you're Shuamao of the Kimu family. Shuamao looked up and down between the pillars. It is indeed a kind of talent. Master Hokage, you know me. Shuamao's eyes were bigger than Bull's eyes, and he was flattered. He never expected that the first generation of Hokage would know his name. Of course, it was recommended by me and Fajian to form a class with Hefeng. You are all the future of the village. You must grow up well. Between the pillars, he gently touched Shuamao's head, and a petting smile appeared. Hefeng sees all this in his eyes. He could feel the high hopes that Zujian gave to the younger generation. But, what the hell did Master Zujian do? Sarutobi inserted between the pillars and talked with Shumo. Although the pillars are friendly and approachable, there must be something to come to such a place deliberately. Ah, nothing important. A thoughtful expression appeared deliberately between the pillars. Maybe it was on a whim. Son slash, can you lend me the wind? Ah, Sarutobi couldn't help being stunned. He didn't expect that Zujian would speak to himself in this tone. However, Sarutobi had already guessed the matter related to Hefeng. After all, you are the captain of Hefeng now, Shima said with a smile. In this way, after getting the permission of Sarutobi, Zuma turned to look at Hefeng and offered an invitation to this grandson. Advertisement. Hefeng naturally did not refuse. Anyway, before the fourth time to punch the card, there are still several hours of cooling time. But, what's the matter with Grandpa Zujian looking for me? Hefeng couldn't help but say. Don't worry about this. The pillars grabbed Hefeng's arm, lifted him, and put him behind his back. When the breeze was let down, he and the pillars came to a clearing. Behind is dense woods. In front of him is the unobstructed Konoha village. Here it is. Hefeng walked to the edge of the cliff and looked down. What greeted him confirmed his conjecture. Here, it's just above the Naruto rock. Although it has been more than a year since traveling to this world, Hefeng is here for the first time. Especially this kind of condescending perspective on Konoha village gives a different kind of experience to the Japanese style. Why do you come to this place? Hefeng turned around and couldn't help asking. Until now, he hadn't figured out what medicine was selling in the gourd between the pillars. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I saw a slap of his hands between the pillars, wouldn't escape the technique of wooden tables. In front of the pillars, the vine protruded from the ground and then became thicker, turning into a solid wood low table. Afterwards, between the pillars took out the scroll from Haori's sleeve and used spiritism. Put the pre-prepared wine and hot tea on the table. Then the picnic carpet was laid. With the forest behind, it has a special flavor. 3 steps of the breeze and 2 steps, walked to the picnic carpet, took off the shoes, and then finished cross-legged. Because he is really not used to kneeling. After completing this escort mission, you are a real ninja, Hefeng. Zuma said with a smile. Yeah, to be honest, I didn't expect to be a ninja so quickly. Kazuka asked tentatively, so, is Grandpa Zuma celebrating me? Haha, of course, no. Zefeng. Unexpectedly, the smile between the pillars turned into a petting smile, but it was not a smile for peace. He grabbed the wine cup on the table and sprinkled the dirt on the side. It looks more like a memorial to someone. I have a friend. Yeah, Hefeng nodded in response. When a friend was mentioned between the pillars, he guessed the person's name. Advertisement. Spot. Moreover, the gentle breeze can feel the true feelings between the pillars. It was an afternoon, and we met each other by the creek. We train together, compete together, float, run, climb mountains, etc., and so on. When we are tired, we will sit down and talk about our ideals and the younger brother we want to protect. It was also at that time that we made up our minds and promised to each other that we must end the war in the future. Let all children put their hearts to heart and treat each other frankly, unlike us. Clearly value each other and care about each other, but can't even tell each other the last name. The pillars shook his head helplessly, the corners of his mouth raised, a bitter smile appeared, and then he swallowed the wine in the bottle. On this point, Hefeng is very clear. During the Warring States period, even a 4 or 5-year-old child would have blood on his hands. Once you tell the other person's last name, you can't be friends. Zhu Jian and Madara conceal each other precisely to maintain this friendship. What happened later? Hefeng couldn't help asking. Later, various things happened. We knew each other's identities and discovered the hatred of each other's family. Although we want to get rid of all this, we don't have enough power. On the battlefield, we fought again and again, but we were merciful everywhere. Until we each became the patriarch of the family. When talking about this, he took another sip of wine between the pillars, knocked the empty cup on the table, and poured himself another glass. As for the part that killed Quan Nijian, Zhu Jian deliberately didn't say. After that, we put aside the family hatred and established the Konaha village. I plan to let him be Hokage, thinking that as long as he has something worth protecting, I can. When talking about this, the pillars smiled bitterly again. Whether it's the name of the country of fire, the younger brother, or the representatives of the big families in the village. No one stood by Madara's side. Compared to Madara, they think they are more suitable for Konoha's Hokage. What a ninja god. What is the closest to the existence of the six immortals? In the end, even the most important friend could not help. Grandpa, the person you are talking about is Madara Uchiha, right? Feng stood up from the picnic carpet, walked up, patted the shoulder between the pillars, and smiled. I've heard your story. Because Grandpa is good at mudden, so the village is called Konoha village. Because Madara is good at Huakong, the leader of the village is called Hokage, right? Chapter 59 Reward. Water Escape Spree. Advertisement. Even if Zujian didn't say anything, Hefeng would take this Zongan exam. After finishing the conversation with Zuma, Hefeng returned home and closed the doors and windows. Although the process of clocking in will not be discovered by others, it is still not a habit to restrain emotions in front of others. He deliberately endured it, and started punching in his room for the fourth time. Hefeng took a deep breath and confirmed in his mind. Check-in successfully. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the host for getting the punch-in package. Close black lens bracket. Whether to open now. Close black lens bracket. For the clock-in process, Hefeng is already a familiar road. I would like to trade Uchiha Madara's 10-year lifespan in exchange for the European Emperor blood. Hefeng put his hands together and started metaphysics. Of course, Kazuka knew in his heart that Uchiha Madara wouldn't do anything because of his own words. This is just a kind of metaphysics, a kind of habit. It's like a certain DNF anchor who kowtows to the computer when increasing the equipment. Anyway, the breeze won't lose anything. Check-in package is open. Close black lens bracket. All kinds of ninjutsu, blood succession limit, flashed one by one in front of the wind. Open black lens bracket snapped. Close black lens bracket. The two couldn't breathe, and the picture froze, flashing dazzling white light. Congratulations to the host, get a copy of the Intermediate Water Escape gift package from the check-in package. Close black lens bracket. With the sound of the sound, the breeze could not help being taken aback. What the hell? Intermediate Water Escape Spree. What is this? Did you get a gift package from the gift package? Matryoshka. Whether to open the Intermediate Water Escape Spree. Close black lens bracket. Turn on. Hefeng confirms in his mind, it doesn't make sense to keep it anyway. This thing is not a deposit, there is no way to earn interest. The gift package is open. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the host, get rewards. Water Escape Water Wall LV10, Water Escape Water Dragon Bomb LV10, Water Escape Water Prison Technique LV10, Water Escape Water Body Technique LV10. Close black lens bracket. Hefeng blinked, as if he was stunned. Seeing the first reaction of the Shui Dun spree, he thought it was one of the many Shui Dun. Feeling a little lost. Advertisement. As a result, I didn't expect that the Intermediate Water Dune gift pack actually gave 4 types of water dunjutsu. And, very comprehensive. The defensive water escape has a wall of water, the offensive type has water dragon bombs, the restraint type has the technique of dungeons, and, the water body technique of the entity clone. Although the strength of the water body is only 1/10 that of the body, it is a physical clone at any rate, and its practicality is quite good. In any case, there are only a handful of ninjas who can see through the difference between the main body and the clone. Even the Hyuga clan with white eyes can't tell the difference. Especially for the current Zephyr. With these ninjutsu, the improvement in strength is very huge. Especially after the war with Troy. Let me realize the importance of ninjutsu. If I hadn't forced my body to act towards the peacock, I wouldn't be able to defeat him. The key is, the reason why Madbo is the ninja in Konoha village's physical arts second only to the pillar and the door is because there are very few ninjas in Konoha village who focus on physical skills. The families of Autumn Road, Yamanaka, Nara, etc. practice family secret arts. The direction of the Uchiha clan's practice is to right round eyes and fire escape. Only the Hyuga clan can specialize in physical skills. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, but because of the separation of the clan and the bird in the cage, people who are qualified to practice gossip 64 palms are quite rare in themselves. Therefore, the personal strength of the Hyuga family has always been in an awkward position. Furthermore, physical skills are second only to the pillar room, the door room, and the strength second only to the pillar room. The door room is completely two concepts. Especially the shortcomings of the 8 doors Dunjia art, it is easy to be compensated. Hefeng now recalled the battle with Troy, and felt that he was lucky. Because of the lack of understanding of the 8 door Dunjia, Troy would use magnetic escape to create an enchantment, which led to trapping himself and becoming a living target for the wind. Because of Sarutobi's presence, Lei Dun clone of Troy had to contain Sarutobi. Otherwise, your peacock may not be able to distinguish itself and attack the wrong target. After using the Chao peacock, his body was so damaged that he could not move. If it weren't for Yunai's body, it would take at least a few minutes to recover with my Muji. Hefeng couldn't help but smile bitterly, but, when the ninjas are fighting each other, who will give me a few minutes? According to the logic of normal people, it will definitely make up for the knife neatly. Where is the chattering to escape? That is something that only villains in anime can do. Hefeng took a deep breath and summed up his experience. Although he has a plug-in like Golden Finger, the punch card system itself is not a series of seconds. Unlike the novel he had seen at the starting point called, Signing In from Hokage. The protagonist Shu Fan only signed in a few times before he gained the ability of Mudun and Immune Illusion. And the punch card package is a lottery. The next reward is likely to be waste skills. Advertisement. Recognize the gap, exercise yourself, sum up experience. This is the way of thinking that an adult should have. And the rewards obtained this time fully made up for the lack of Bamandunjia. Not only have the means of defense, but also the means of long-range attacks. The technique of dungeon and the technique of water body can make one's own combat methods more flexible and diversified. Let's imagine. Metke first uses a water body technique. When Kakashi was unprepared, he secretly trapped him in a water prison, then slowly opened the 8-door Dunjia, the corners of his mouth rose, and his teeth shone white. Use the peacock. Do not. Use day tiger. Do not. Use Yekai. Kick it over. Kakashi's dazed expression even surfaced in Hefeng's mind. Correct. However, at this moment, Hefeng suddenly shined. Although the water dune I got from the intermediate water dunge gift pack are all B-level ninjutsu, the scale and power of ninjutsu. It depends on the amount of chakra. It's like when Uchiha Madara rushed to the ninja allied forces during the 4th Ninja War. The fierce fire he used was B-level ninjutsu. I hope I can meet people from the Uchiha clan in the Zongan exam this time. I don't know if I can just hit 10. Hefeng muttered to himself, wishing to find someone now and try his own water escape effect. But, just when he was thinking about these things and looking forward to this Zongan exam, there was a knock on the door outside the room. Hefeng, someone is looking for you. Father Mujian's voice followed. Look for me. Who? Hefeng asked without thinking. Hefeng, it's me, Tsukumo Hagaki. Captain Sarutoi asked me to call you on the mission together. Hefeng only remembered when he heard Shuamao's words. To take this Zongan exam, he has to complete at least 8 tasks. And now, he has only completed a C-level escort mission. Chapter 60 Plan. Advertisement. In the days that followed, Hefeng and Shumao kept performing their tasks. I don't know if it was deliberately arranged in the interim, and the tasks that Hefeng received were all very simple D-level tasks. Such as helping people find cats and shopping. Basically, 2 to 3 tasks can be completed in one day. Near the day before the Nakanin selection exam, Hefeng completed 10 tasks. Naruto building. Sarutobi came to the door of the Phagian office, raised his right hand, and tapped lightly. After getting permission from the door, he opened the door and walked in. Is there anything going on, son slash? Phagian asked. Yeah, Sarutobi nodded, and went straight to the subject. I recommend Hefeng, Shumao, 2 people. Take the Zongan exam in the name of Sarutobi Hizen. As long as Sha Ren has completed 8 tasks, he is qualified to take the Zhong Ren exam. However, you need to be recommended by Shinin in order to participate. Although Sarutobi is not a Japanese style, Shumo is the leader of the 7th squad. It is also a necessary process to come to the front office to state this matter. I know, Fei Jian said lightly, but he was full of expectations for the performance of Hefeng in his heart. Especially the first C-level task assigned to Hefeng. Fei Jian had already grasped the information of Union Village. Knowing that they were eyeing Yuna, they thought of getting the secret of the Whirlpool clan. The reason for pretending to be ignorant and entrusting this task to Hefeng is to see how he performs in real combat. If Hefeng can't move because of fear, it means that he is not eligible to take the Zongan exam. I didn't expect Hefeng to develop a physical technique like that of a peacock. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. He discovered the restriction on the flow of chakras in the human body and developed the 8-door Dunjia. As a result, it was found that Baman Dunjia caused great damage to the human body, so it was listed as a forbidden operation. On this basis, Hefeng developed the Chao Peacock. This is enough to prove that in the field of creating ninjutsu, Hefeng is also a unique genius. This escort mission not only made Fujiya excited, but also made him firm in his determination to cultivate Hefeng to become Hokage. By the way, go back and tell Hefeng that he is forbidden to use Chao Peacock in the Zongren exam this time. Fenjian said. Although the power of Chao Peacock is very strong, the damage to the body is very exaggerated. Even if it is healed by Hefeng's Muji, it can't recover the damage in a short time. Advertisement. Such a technique, it is better not to let the wind use. However, the reason why Zhangjian knows so many details is not just that Sarutobi explained it to him as soon as he returned to the village. But, from the beginning, Jian followed Hefeng secretly. In order to prevent Sarutobi's perception ability from discovering himself, he deliberately stretched enough distance to observe with the technique of telescope. The most important thing is that Hefeng carries the special kunai he sent, and it is printed with Fei Lei Shen's art. If the breeze is useless to solve Troy towards the peacock, Troy will definitely die worse. You know, Yujian wants to cultivate the Japanese style into Konoha's Hokage. How could he die prematurely? As a result, what I didn't even dream of in Fei Jian was. Just when he thought Hefeng and others were driven into desperation by Troy, he was about to use the Thunder God to show up. Hefeng shook his fist unexpectedly, rubbing the flame with the air. There is no doubt that at the time, I was shocked again. Hefeng not only performed well, but also completely exceeded his expectations. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. You know, Troy is not only the shinobu of Union Village, but also the owner of the blood succession boundary. Thinking of this, a trace of enthusiasm flashed in Fei Jian's eyes. In order to enhance the feelings between the allies, I specially invited Cheyenne Village and Yenyan Village, as well as the neighboring small nationals, to become Zongren's excellent Shanren for this Zongren examination. Among those people, there is no shortage of geniuses who are rare in a century, and possessors of powerful blood and bounds. The most important thing is that Feng and Toying are also invited to come. Since the pillars suffered terminal illness, the undercurrents of the 5 ninja villages have been surging. After careful consideration, this invitation was sent out, hoping that all Shinin villages can come to participate in this Zongren exam. On the one hand, it is to ease the tension between ninja village and maintain the balance of force between each other. On the other hand, it is to show the courage and strength of Konaha village. Let the other shadows understand. Even if the eldest brother is suffering from a terminal illness, the strength of Konaha village is still very strong. Furthermore, I can also use this opportunity to let the leaders of Konoha's families see the talent of Japanese style. Especially the Uchiha clan, Jien secretly said in his heart. He himself doesn't have much opinion on the Uchiha clan, but anyone who can threaten the village is a target he should treat with caution. It's just that the Uchiha clan is the strongest. The most attention should be paid. Advertisement. Actually, before the emergence of the gentle breeze, the Sensho clan faced the dilemma of no successor. Even if you want to cultivate a Hokage in the family, there is no one to choose. The various families in the Nong are eyeing the position of the 3rd generation of Hokage. But now there is a gentle breeze. Fei Jian naturally hopes that these families can dispel the idea of vying for the position of Hokage. Other than that, it's the lifespan of Big Brother. Although I have temporarily stabilized my eldest brother's condition with drugs, it may deteriorate at any time. Once Big Brother Bintian, the shadows of other villages are likely to start a war. As the 2nd generation of Hokage, I naturally want to go to the battlefield and guard the village. In fact, this is also the reason why Zhongjian is anxious to cultivate harmony and help him rise to the top. Although Hefeng does have the capital of Hokage, and he is sure, with Hefeng's terrifying talent, it will not take 10 years, he must be Hokage. But, can Big Brother Zuma really live that long? In fact, I don't have much confidence in my heart. The eldest brother died between the pillars. Sacrifice himself on the battlefield again. Losing the breeze of the backing, even if he has the terrifying talent, he may not be able to become Hokage. It's even possible to cherish the crime. In other words, when Feijian and Zujian are alive, Hefeng is the root of the seedlings, and Konoha's first relationship. If they are not there anymore, the breeze is really just a breeze. From the time of the Warring States period, we know the cruelty of war better than anyone. 5 years. Up to 5 years, I must cultivate the Japanese style into Hokage. Secretly swore and made up his mind. And this 5-year period is the lifespan between the columns. My eyes narrowed slightly, his right hand clenched his fist. I have never lost a bet against Big Brother, so this time, Big Brother, you will live for another 5 years no matter what. 2 days later, the Zongjin selection examination has officially started. Early in the morning, the breeze opened the bedroom window and took a deep breath of fresh air. Chunin test, I'm here. Chapter 61 Be careful Uchiha. Advertisement. As the strongest ninja village, Konoha has unparalleled prestige. Yenyan Village, Cheyenne Village, and the small countries around Konoha sent outstanding Shuren to participate in this Zongjin exam. Although the 5 great ninja villages can mobilize thousands of ninjas in wartime, the total number of Shangnan and elite Shangnan in each village is only a few hundred. In other words, a ninja who can be promoted to ninja is undoubtedly the command class. For example, during the 3rd Ninja War, Kakashi was able to command Lin to carry out tasks with soil because of this relationship. But no matter how you say it, Zongren is an important combat power in a shinobu village. Not only do they have the potential to be promoted to Shinin, but the number is also several times that of Shinin personnel. Many important tasks in the village require Zongren to complete. Based on this relationship, the leadership of every shinobu village attaches great importance to this Zongjin exam. In order to let the Japanese win pass the exam smoothly, Mujian specially prepared a rich breakfast and supplemented with enough protein. Chunin test, I'm here. Feng got ready, walked out of the house, and then met with Shumao's base in Onbi. Although this is not the first time that Konoha village has held a ninja test, it is the first time that other ninja villages have been invited to participate. It is said that there are more than 200 people who participated in this exam. Shuo Mao shared the information he found with Feng. The ninja contest is both an intelligence contest. Not only that, it is not only the ninjas who graduated this year who participated in this exam, but also the people who participated in the Zongjin exam in the past and failed to get promoted. They have quite a wealth of exam experience. Shuo Mao further said, feeling nervous. When I think of my opponents are all teenagers, even adults in their 20s. Shuo Mao couldn't help wondering if he was a little bit more entrusted to take this exam. After all, he doesn't have such a terrifying talent as Hefeng. Suddenly, Sarutobi's voice came from a distance, Hefeng, Shumao, here. Feng and Shumo looked over subconsciously and found that Sarutobi was waving with them. Captain Sarutobi, Shumao couldn't help being surprised. Because the entire venue did not take on the role of Shangren to accompany his subordinates. Is this the advantage of the related households? Shumao sighed inwardly. Plain Chong Shin, Shumao, even if he fails this Zongjin exam, he will come back next year. You are still young, there is no need to rush for a while. As long as you can accumulate experience from this Zongjin exam, it's fine. Advertisement. Feng patted Shumao on the shoulder, comforting him, and then strode towards the Saru fly. Shumao looked at Feng's back with a black line, wondering where to spit out. You are obviously 1 year younger than me, right? Why do you act as if you are caring about the younger generation? And, why do you say that you have passed the Chunin exam? Shumao took a deep breath, suppressed the frantic mood, and followed silently. Hisaka, why are you here? Feng walked up to Sarutobi and asked curiously. Master Phagian is worried that you will not be able to figure out the situation, so he specifically told me to come over. The corner of Sarufly's mouth raised, and he said with a smile. No matter how you look at it, the small figure of the gentle breeze doesn't fit here. If he hadn't witnessed his horror talent with his own eyes, he would not even want to believe in his dreams that a 7-year-old child is qualified to take the Zongnan exam. And, as long as the breeze plays steadily, he can pass this exam. Feng, you can't use Chao Peacock in this Zongnan exam. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Feng nodded, not surprised by this request. Chao Peacock caused great damage to the body, and he didn't plan to use it. In addition, let me tell you one more piece of news. This time the Zongnan exam is divided into 2 games. The first is a knockout round, and there are only 16 places for promotion. Shuamao on the side took a breath. There were more than 200 people who took the exam, but there were only 16 places. It is equivalent to 13 people, only one person can pass the first exam. All of a sudden, Shuamao's mood fell uncontrollably. I should be hopeless. A red heart, 2 hands are ready, you are still young, Shuamao, this is your advantage. Feng said without thinking. Even if Shuamao failed for 3 consecutive years, he was only 11 years old. However, Sarutobi looked around at this moment, as if being wary of someone. Make sure that there are no Uchiha people around. Sarutobi reminded Hefeng. Among the Uchiha clan, there are also those who took this exam. Sha Shinobu. Sarutobi wanted to say genius, but looking at Feng's calm expression, he deliberately changed his view. Do not know why. Advertisement. Since seeing Hefeng, Sarutobi has always felt those geniuses, wizards, and ghosts. They all seem pretty mediocre. Uchiha. Yes, there is a guy named Uchiha Satsuna. If you encounter one, you have to be careful, and the wind. Sarutobi paused for a while. As far as I know, he has 4 records of killing Iwagaki Murakami shinobi, and he is a recognized powerhouse among the Uchiha clan. 4 times to kill Shengen records. Shuamao's eyes widened suddenly, and an incredible expression appeared. The listener said that Satsuna's strength has long reached the level of ninja among the elite, and she has opened the eyes of writing rounds. He is a very powerful ninja. I just don't know for what reason, he has never taken the Zongnan exam. Actually, Sarutobi did not tell the truth. Politics in Feijian was not as arrogant as Zhujian. He is both the light of Konoha and the darkness of Konoha. He will give Uchiha some default quotas every year. As long as they send someone to take the Zongnan exam, they can be promoted to Zongnan regardless of their performance. After all, in the ninja test, it is not the winners who pass the test, but the performance of the battle. Since it is a judgment, it is naturally a matter of one sentence. But, the Uchiha clan produced ninjas that were better than others because of the blood succession limit. This kind of internal means, on the contrary, restricted the Uchiha family to get more promotion places. That's why Uchiha Satsuna was arranged to take the Chunin exam this year. Uchiha Satsuna. Feng said the name. Although there are many members of the Uchiha clan, there are very few with names and surnames. In the impression of Hefeng, the role of Satsuna has appeared in the original work. He is the shinobu of the Uchiha clan and a member of the Konoha police force. Not only is he insidious and cunning, he also inherited Madara's will, and has always wanted to seize power from the Senju clan. Senior Sarutobi, why are you here? Suddenly, a man with Uchiha's clan emblem on his body stopped by Hefeng, looking at Sarutobi Hazumi with surprise in his eyes. Uchiha Satsuna. Sarufe frowned slightly, and he didn't expect to say anything. Chapter 62. The show began to operate. Advertisement. Kaze looked at Uchiha Satsuna, who was almost the same height as Sarutobi, and his appearance reminded Kaze. Although there are ninjas like Mirror, Shisui, and Itachi who love the village in the Uchiha clan, there is no shortage of hawks like Setsukura. They have inherited Madara's will and have high self-esteem. When Sarutobi was in power, almost all Uchiha members were hawks, and he did not hesitate to launch a coup to seize power. Naruto is no longer an anime to me, but a real world. Everyone here has his own abacus. Especially the Uchiha clan, if you want to guide them, you must eliminate the hawks. What the village needs is a Uchiha ninja like Shisui. In order to avoid a civil war between the family and the village, Zishui chose to jump down the waterfall to learn about life. Although his life was a bit sad, only a Uchiha ninja like him can make the village stable. Master Shuima takes this Zongnan exam very seriously, so he asked me to come over as the examiner. Sarutobi answered truthfully. There is nothing to hide. This time, more than 200 people participated in the Zongnan exam. The first test is a one-on-one competition. If it is done one by one, it will only consume a lot of time. Therefore, it was decided to take out one of the bases in Anbu, divide it into a lot of competition fields, and conduct them at the same time. This will inevitably require a lot of examiners. It suddenly dawned on him, and at the same time he noticed the gentle breeze, this 7-year-old kid who was only 1.2 meters tall. Originally, with his arrogant personality, he would not care about other contestants. But on the sleeve of the Japanese style, the emblem of the Senju clan is stamped. Are you from the Thousand Hands clan? Instantaneously blurted out. Yes, it is. Are you also here to take the Zongen exam? A surprise flashed in Shisuna's eyes. In his opinion, Hefeng is clearly a child, right? But soon, Satsuna was relieved. Ninja's judgment in promotion is not about winning or losing, but about performance in battle. As long as he can pass the first game, whether he can be promoted to Zhongren is just a matter of one sentence. As for the first exam, on the surface it was a random draw, but is there really no shady? Just find a few people who are just weaker than the wind and let him defeat them. Abominable Thousand Hands clan. Satsuna secretly swears in his heart that one day he will build a bright Konoha without any shady. But before that, Satsuna still smiled and said, I have heard many legends about Sen no Sensho, and I hope I will have the opportunity to fight with you in this exam. Advertisement. After a few polite words, Shina turned and left. As for Satsuna's thoughts, Hefeng naturally knows nothing. But from a certain point of view, the Uchiha clan is very sad. They have been suppressed by the Konoha high-level officials, and they have been squeezed out of the village. It was hard to make up my mind to launch a coup. The three masters in the clan committed suicide, the other rebelled, and the other lay flat and paddled. Oh, there's another one who was fooled. No, two more were fooled. Hefeng couldn't help but complain in his heart. Soon, the second grandfather of the gentle style appeared in the examination room, which meant that the first session of the Zonren selection examination officially began. There was no verbosity in the story, and the test rules were announced directly. One-on-one random draws against each other. The winner advances to the next round. Until the final 16 places are won. Hefeng and Shuamao are separated. According to the result of the fair staff's draw, Hefeng faced Sha Ren from Yinyan village on the 6th field. I don't know if it was deliberately arranged in between. After several rounds of fighting, Hefeng felt that his opponents were surprisingly weak. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. There is no need for Baman Dunjia, Strange Power, or Water Dunjia. With physical skills alone, Hefeng crushed the opponents he encountered. And he found that all the opponents he encountered seemed to have just graduated from the ninja school. The most powerful ninjutsu is just two kinds of avatars and avatars. It's really unnecessary. Hefeng shook his head. Unexpectedly, this kind of grandfather turned out to be in the door. Although I am indeed a member of Konoha's relationship, he is still the strongest kind, but I go to the back door or something. It's really cool. Forget it, as long as you can pass the exam. As long as he wins the next game, Hefeng can qualify from the first round of the elimination round and participate in the official competition. So Hefeng came to the examiner and waited for him to announce the name of his last opponent. Although Hefeng kills his opponent every time, he must wait for everyone to decide the outcome before the next round can begin. After all, the test rules are random draws. Fair and open. In the final round, there were only 32 ninjas left in the entire examination room. What Hefeng didn't expect was advertisement. Shuamao is still there. However, on the viewing platform, he watched Hefeng with his arms around his chest and thought about it carefully before instructing an examiner next to him, arrange for Hefeng to compete with Uchiha in an instant. The Uchiha clan possesses a strong blood inheritance boundary. If it weren't for the eldest brother, I'm afraid no one can suppress Madara. Not even yourself. I am worried that another spot will appear in the Uchiha clan. Feijian has been watching their every move. Although I promised to give Uchiha a default quota, if Satsuna couldn't make it out in the first round, then I can't be blamed. The most important thing is that you can take this opportunity to let the Uchiha clan realize the terrifying talent of Japanese style. Feijian's eyes narrowed slightly, and the operation began. And the examiner beside him, as if he was already quite familiar with this kind of thing, nodded and immediately arranged it. The results can be imagined. In the final round of the draw, the Japanese wind, randomly, arrived at Uchiha Satsuna. There are still more than 30 people left on the court, so the probability is high or not, low or low. If there is no element of black box operation at all, he won't believe it. Under the instruction of the examiner, the breeze came to the center of the 6th field. On the other side, Uchiha Satsuna walked slowly. When he saw that his opponent was a gentle breeze this time, he was taken aback on the spot, a little confused. Because of the Chinsho clan emblem, Satsuna has been paying attention to the performance of the wind. Although his physique is good, it can't be said to be dazzling. Especially the opponents he encountered were all very weak. Obviously, he did it intentionally in the middle of the day, and it was convenient for Hefeng to qualify from the first exam. But, it just happened that I met myself in the last round. Is it possible that the remaining ninjas are much stronger than Hefeng, so I hope I will eliminate him? Satsuna quickly thought of this possibility, and he immediately regained his calm. However, Satsuna did not realize the seriousness of the problem at all. However, after seeing the result of this draw, other people became less calm. As the two big families who founded the village of Konoha, Senju and Uchiha have always been talked about. To some extent, this contest is full of fate. Seeing Uchiha walk slowly, the corner of his mouth rose, and a smile appeared. Chapter 63 Spike Uchiha Satsuna. Advertisement. I didn't expect that we would meet in the last round. Shina started slowly, walked to a position about 2 meters away from the breeze, and stopped. His mentality is very good at this time. Except for the first generation of Hokage to use Mudun, none of the other Thousand Hands clan inherited this ability. And he looks only about 7 or 8 years old. The amount of chakra is definitely not as good as yourself. The most important thing is that the few battles before the wind are all in sight. For a 7 or 8-year-old kid, that kind of physique is really good. Unfortunately, he met me in the last round. Although the current Uchiha Satsuna is just a ninja, he has opened the eyes of the writing wheel. No matter how powerful the physical skills are, he can predict the action and adjust the strategy to deal with it. Even if Hefeng has an amazing talent in the field of physical arts. You can predict your own predictions. Then, on this basis, I can predict my own predictions. Therefore, Uchiha Satsuna is full of confidence. I didn't expect it either. Hefeng said with a smile. At this moment, the examiner, who had been silent, issued an instruction: the test begins. Accompanied by the examiner's voice fell. Uchiha instantly entered a fighting state, and his hands were stretched into the ninja bag at the same time. For today's exam, he spent all the savings he saved from performing the tasks this year. And Hefeng is still a member of the Thousand Hands. This competition is of great significance to Satsuna. More than a dozen shurikens flew towards the breeze from different angles, and this process, Shina only took 2 seconds. All the examiners who paid attention to this battle stared wide-eyed. As expected of the genius of the Uchiha clan. Sarutobi exclaimed even more. After learning the shadow clone from Master Phagian, he had a whim to apply the shadow clone technique to the attack of the shuriken. Develop the shuriken shadow avatar technique. And Uchiha Satsuna, with the superb rate of fire, achieved the effect of the shuriken shadow clone technique. Suddenly, advertisement. The flying shurikens collided with each other in the air, forcibly changing the flight trajectory, like a fishing net, towards the windshield. This change directly blocked the retreat of the wind. It's worthy of being from the Uchiha clan. Kazuka couldn't help but praise his opponent. He thought that only genius ninjas like Shisui, Itachi, and Sasuke could play with such a fancy sword in his hand. Unexpectedly, even Uchiha has such a high level. For a moment, a faint enthusiasm flashed in Hefeng's eyes. Soon, the gentle breeze broke out into the chakra, forming a stream of air that spread out to the surroundings. Boom! I saw the floor at the foot of the wind cracking, like a spider web. And those shurikens that hit him seemed to hit the air wall and flew out one after another. Seeing that the shurikens were about to fly out of the number 6 examination room, all the shurikens suddenly stopped in the air. What was that just now? With Shizua rolling his throat, he couldn't understand what Hefeng had done, and all the shurikens he threw out bounced off. But, in this exam, I can't lose anyway. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. All the shurikens that were bounced out changed their flight trajectory in the air and attacked the breeze again. Magnetic escape. Sarufe exclaimed again, thinking of the Troy he had encountered before. However, isn't magnetic escape the blood succession boundary? When will the writing round eyes of the Uchiha clan be able to replicate the blood succession boundary? No, it's not right. But soon, Sarutobi shook his head to deny this idea, after his careful observation. The reason why those shurikens can change the flight trajectory is that Uchiha set the shurikens in series with wires that are so thin that it is hard to distinguish with the naked eye. Is it possible to develop the ninja to this level? Is this the strength of the Uchiha clan? However, Uchiha Satsuna has not yet used his best ninjutsu. Seeing this scene, Sarutobi began to worry about the wind. His assassin, Chao Peacock, was listed as a forbidden technique by Master Shuma. And those shurikens became like magnetic escapes under the momentary performance. It has a certain restraint effect on the gentle style who is good at physical skills. The most important thing is that Satsuna is Uchiha who opened the eyes of the writing wheel. Shiluanyan is a blood succession boundary unique to the Uchiha clan, possessing powerful abilities such as observation, copying, and illusion. It's simply the natural enemy of the ninja physique. It's not over yet. Advertisement. However, the many shurikens are just feints by Uchiha Satsuna. His real killer is actually ninjutsu. I saw Susuna instantly open the writing wheel, staring at the wind, making sure that he would not use illusions to confuse himself. At the same time, Uchiha Satsuna's hands quickly formed seals. Fire escape. Soon, Uchiha instantly took a deep breath, as if trying to exhaust the air in the entire examination room. The shuriken that rushed towards the wind for the second time still covered the sky like a fishing net. Block all retreats from Hefeng. Even if this thousand-handed imp can use the flying shurikens just now, it is impossible to take over my ninjutsu. Uchiha was full of confidence, and then condensed one half of the chakra to his throat, intending to end the contest. The art of fireball. I saw Uchiha instantly spit out a giant fireball from his mouth. The diameter is very large, at least 5 or 6 meters. How fireball technique? Hefeng's eyes narrowed slightly, and he knew this ninjutsu well. The original ninjutsu of the Uchiha clan is widely spread in the ninja world. It's perfect for testing your own water escape. Just to test the power of my water dragon bomb. Feng immediately completed 3 seals, and only a small part of the chakra between the pillars was used. A puddle of clear water emerged from under his feet and rose rapidly, submerging the gentle wind in an instant. And those shurikens that flew towards him were blocked by the power of Shui Dun. Then, the clear water sprayed more and more, rotating and rising, and while protecting the wind, it changed into a lifelike dragon. Uchiha Satsuna was stunned on the spot, and the fierce fireball he released compared with the water dragon bomb of the wind, it was simply vulnerable. The body of that water dragon is at least 10 meters long. It opened its blood basin, swooped down from midair, and swallowed the fireball in an instant. Afterwards, the water dragon churns towards Uchiha Satsuna. This is impossible. Hefeng is just a 7 or 8-year-old kid. It is impossible for him to have such an exaggerated amount of chakra. Yes, his chakra is not enough to support such a terrifying water escape ninjutsu. This must be an illusion. Uchiha stared wide-eyed, believing that he must have been hit by illusion, see through. However, until the last second, the water dragon swallowed him mercilessly, and he could not see through Hefeng's illusion. Just like the previous games, Hefeng immediately killed his opponent in seconds. Chapter 64 My Sarutobi Hizen is just one thing to say. Advertisement. Hefeng instantly killed Uchiha Satsuna on the spot, but he didn't hear the examiner announce the result of the test for a long time. Turning around, he found that the examiner in examination hall number 6 had been stunned. Seeing it in a gentle breeze, I had to remind him, "Examiner, can I announce the result?" The examiner's thoughts were pulled back to the real world, only then did he realize his responsibility, so he hurriedly announced the result. Japanese style versus Uchiha Satsuna. Zephyr. Win. He will participate in the official game in a week. Regarding this result, Hefeng has no fluctuations in his heart. With his current strength, for Sha Ren, it is undoubtedly a dimensionality reduction blow. Every contest is a spike, which is a good proof. I thought the Uchiha family could make me a little more serious, but forget it. Hefeng muttered to himself, his 5 fingers clenched into fists, but he didn't have much expectation for the next official game. Even the ninjas of Uchiha's clan who opened the writing wheel were killed by himself. Is there anything I can fight this time in Shininri? The examiner in examination room number 6 stared at Hefeng's back blankly. Up to this moment, his emotions had not calmed down. Generally, those who have just graduated Sha Ninja do not have enough chakra to support the release of Seiin ninjutsu. This is almost common sense. For example, in the original Naruto game, when Sasuke tried to grab the bell for the first time, Kakashi was stunned by using the skill of the fireball. Not to mention, the water dragon bomb used by Hefeng is a B-level ninjutsu that is 1 level higher than How Fireball. Except for the examiner in the number 6 examination room, every ninja who saw Hefeng using water dragon bombs was full of shock. Hey, it's true, it was able to release such an exaggerated water escape in an environment without water. Is that guy really forbearing? With all due respect, not many people can use that level of water dragon bombs even if it is the shinobu of our village. The amount of chakra of this kid is really scary. No wonder Satsuna feels like she has been illusioned. The examiners began to discuss. However, at this moment, one of them exclaimed. Look at his sleeve, isn't that the emblem of the Thousand Hands clan? The examiners focused their attention on the game, and they didn't notice the details of the clan emblem until someone exclaimed. And, someone reacted immediately. Wait, that kid wouldn't be the grandson of the original Hokage-sama. Another examiner exclaimed. Advertisement. As the ninja god who built Konaha in one hand, Zuma is undoubtedly respected by everyone. These ninjas naturally heard about him having a grandson. Hefeng has just returned to the village and has not yet been exposed to the public eye. But the grandson of the first generation of Naruto-sama, he will be 6 or 7 years old this year. He came to take the Zongan exam when he was 6 or 7 years old. This kind of thing. The examiner's voice stopped abruptly. Hefeng's height is only about 1.2 meters, and he looks like a 7 or 8-year-old child. It is only because of preconceived ideas that they think that the breeze is only a slow development, so they are shorter than their peers. However, if Hefeng is only 7 years old, then his height can be explained. It's just that this fact has set off stormy waves in the examiners' hearts. 99% of the examiners in charge of the Zongan exam are Zongren. As for the strength shown by Hefeng, they couldn't think of the possibility of Hefeng's failure to advance. In other words, this means that Konoha village will usher in the youngest Zongan in history. And this record is likely to become a swan song. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Konoha is the first and only legendary ninja to be promoted to Zongan at the age of 7. Found it. Suddenly, an examiner remembered that their handbook had recorded all the information about taking the Zongan exam. The information about Japanese styles above is only simple. Look at the time above. Hefeng has only become shonen for more than a week, so come to take the Zongan exam. No, not at all. Number of tasks performed, 1 C-level task, 9 D-level tasks. Suddenly, the cognition of these examiners was subverted again. After only a week of shinin, I ran to take the Zongan exam and killed all the opponents encountered in seconds. Even the geniuses of the Uchiha clan. The key is. It is clearly written on it. Hefeng, 7 years old this year. A 7-year-old Konoha Nakanin. Advertisement. The examiner was in an uproar. For them, the breeze is like a dazzling meteor, which can only be viewed from a distance and cannot be touched. No, it's out of reach. These examiners are beginning to feel that with a gentle background, terrifying talent. He is likely to become the 3rd generation of Naruto. This makes them feel excited. We are actually the witnesses of the future growth of Hokage. Hefeng, I remember this name, but how can he remember me? But at this moment, Sarutobi, who had been silent, couldn't help but speak. I don't think the background can explain anything. Even if Master Hefeng is not the grandson of the original Hokage-sama, his talent will be cultivated by Master Shwema. Sarutobi Risen paused for a while. It's not because Hefeng is the grandson of the original Hokage-sama, but he does have such strength. Sarutobi nowadays is not to flatter anyone, but to really think so. From the time he knew Hefeng to the present, Hefeng's talent has shocked him time and time again. For those who don't know what happened, most of them will be able to make up for it. Hefeng was taught by Master Shuima before he became Shaoren. He may have already started practicing when he was 4 or 5 years old. Hefeng has just returned to the village for less than a month. Before that, he had not conducted any training. Sarutobi broke a surprising fact, and before today, Kazuka had never used ninjutsu. No one taught him. As soon as this remark came out, the audience was in an uproar. Each examiner's face was stunned, their eyes focused on Hefeng, and their eyes were full of incredible. Sarutobi was a direct disciple of Lord Feijian, and was promoted to Shangnan at the age of 16. Although he is young, he speaks with great weight. The most important thing is that Sarutobi has no reason to lie about this matter. Just the water dragon bomb of that size was enough to shock them. You know, Hefeng's body has not yet ushered in its heyday. At that time, I am afraid that it will not take more than 20 ninjas to use the earth escape to block his water dragon bomb. Could it be that at that time? Suddenly, Sarutobi recalled that after returning from a C-level mission, he gave a demonstration in order to facilitate K's to master the theoretical basis of ninjutsu. At that time, he had used water escape. Chapter 65. No one really thinks this ninjutsu is difficult, right? Advertisement. Standing in a daze on the viewing platform, after witnessing the battle between Hefeng and Uchiha Satsuna, his eyes widened with a horrified expression on his face. What do you see? I didn't even dream of it in my dreams, and after only one round, he would kill Uchiha Satsuna. This is simply a scene that subverted his worldview. It's not that I didn't expect the Hefeng would win. It was never thought that Hefeng would use this method to win the game. Although Uchiha Satsuna is only a ninja at the moment, the reason is that he is from Uchiha. In terms of strength, he is even stronger than Danzo. Feijian was deeply moved in my heart. If Hefeng uses Jingmun, do not, even if it was only in the state of Duman, defeating Uchiha Satsuna, he would not be so shocked. Because of the physique of Japanese style, Jian quite recognized. On the premise of not using ninjutsu or illusion, and purely duet martial arts, I felt that few people would be opponents of the gentle style. But, he didn't even use the first door of the 8-door Dunjia. Just one ninjutsu killed Uchiha Satsuna. Moreover, if I read correctly, when Hefeng just used the water dragon bomb, he only made 3 seals. Although the water dragon bomb is only a B-level ninjutsu, it has strong flexibility and is a very easy to use water escape ninjutsu. The only drawback is that when using water dragon bombs, 44 seals are required. If the printing speed is not fast enough, it is easy to expose the flaws to the enemy. In order to suppress Uchiha Sena's fire escape on the battlefield, the water dragon bomb was forcibly simplified to 3 seals. But, if you want to use simplified not printing, you must have a high ninjutsu talent. It's not just physique, even the ninjutsu field, and the wind are monster-like geniuses. This made Feijian couldn't help but sigh. For a true genius, no matter what field he is a genius. I have never taught Japanese ninjutsu, nor demonstrated it in front of him. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but look at the Sarutobi Hizen in the examination room. As a ninja with 5 chakra attributes, Sarutobi's water escape technique is very strong. But even for him, using the water dragon bomb now requires 12 seals to release. Based on this, it is impossible for the Sarutobi Church and K's to release the water dragon bomb just how to make the 3 seals. Could it be that, gentle, he is self-taught and has mastered the simplified seal of the water dragon bomb? Advertisement. Calm. By the way, is it possible that he is the eldest brother? Suddenly, I thought of the pillar room again. He heard that Hefeng was taken by the pillars when he returned to the village. Could it be that at that time, eldest brother Zuma taught Japanese ninjutsu? Actually, wood escape is the fusion of water escape chakra and earth escape chakra, resulting in blood succession boundary. Although the eldest brother only used wood escape for fighting between pillars, he was also a first-class powerhouse in the areas of water escape and soil escape. If it were him, it would be no surprise that Hefeng would use water dragon bombs. Thinking of this, Feijian's mood eased a lot. Although Hefeng is his grandson, when he saw that he had a talent for horror, Feijian's heart was full of excitement. But, it will also be hidden visibly. You know, he has fought against Senna countless times before simplifying the technique of water dragon bombs to 3 seals. And when performing the task of escorting Yina, Hefeng doesn't know any ninjutsu yet. In 1 week, I learned the water dragon bomb and simplified the J into 3. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. This kind of thing is simply too outrageous. Let's have a feeling of being a ninjutsu fool. No place to be self-contained. In particular, based on his understanding of Japanese style and his character, I am afraid that he would not say so. No one really thinks the water dragon bomb technique is difficult, right? This ninjutsu requires 44 seals. Obviously 3 will do. Oh, I learned this ninjutsu at a glance, and then found that Jia Yin was too cumbersome, so I just simplified it casually. Feijian couldn't help holding his forehead, both his tone and the innocence of his face appeared in his mind perfectly. Based on such mental activity, Feijian would rather believe that it was the eldest brother Zuma who gave Hefeng a little on the eve of the Zongnan exam. He also didn't want to believe that Hefeng had developed the technique of water dragon bombs by himself. Wrong. Feijian reacted quickly, and he shook his head with a speechless expression on his face. I'm a second-generation Hokage, and I'm not interested in competing with a 7 or 8-year-old kid. So comforted myself. The other side. After Hefeng defeated Uchiha, he qualified for the official tournament and he could leave here by himself. Advertisement. However, considering that Shuamao hasn't qualified yet, Hefeng plans to watch the game. However, at this moment, Sarutobi stopped him. Hefeng turned his head and saw Sarutobi with a smile on his face. Congratulations, gentle. Unexpectedly, you defeated Uchiha Satsuna without using 8-door Dunjia. Don't look at him as a forbearance now. In terms of strength, he is actually better than Danzo. However, did you teach you the skill of Water Dragon Bomb just now? As soon as he saw the wind, Sarutobi couldn't help but vomit everything he wanted to say. Now he is not only happy for the peace, but also has a lot of questions. After all, the average ninja needs 44 seals to use the Water Dragon Bomb technique. Only Master Shuima can simplify this technique to 3. I learned this ninjutsu at once, and then found that Jia Yin was too cumbersome, so I just simplified it casually. Hefeng said lightly. In any case, he really learned the water escape in one go. It's just that the guy who taught him Shui Dun is called Intermediate Shui Dun Gift Pack. Close black lens bracket. As a result, when Sarutobi heard this, his face was directly black. What does it mean to just simplify it? Do you think this thing is simple? Even me, it takes at least 12 seals to use the Water Dragon Bomb technique. However, as soon as Sarutobi complained, he realized. Hefeng is not an ordinary Shaoren, where can you treat it with common sense? Isn't it enough to get slapped in the face several times before? I compare myself to monsters like Hefeng. Sarutobi's lips trembled a little. The talent gap between him and Hefeng is really too big. It's so big that it's a world of difference. No one can imitate the speed of Hefeng to learn ninjutsu. Even the geniuses of the Uchiha clan will not work. Genius is there every year. But detached humans like Hefeng, genius like monsters, even the entire ninja world. Can't find a second person. Let's go. Rezon, let's go see Shuamao, he shouldn't be over yet. Hefeng looked at the sluggish Sarutobi and reminded him. As a member of Class 7, the two of them should pay attention to it. I don't know who Shuamao's opponent is. Hefeng muttered to himself, and set off toward the number 1 examination room. Chapter 66 I really didn't expect to meet the 3 generations of Feng here in the future. Advertisement. Hefeng and Sarutobi came to the examination room number 1 together. In any case, Shuamao is a companion of the gentle wind. In the future, he will not only become famous in the ninja world, and kill the parents of the Red Sand Scorpion, but also give birth to Kakashi, the 6th generation of Hokage. Based on the relationship between this and that, Shuamao was almost the only one who was cared about by the wind in this Zongan exam. The result was the same as Hefeng thought. When he came to the examination room no. 1, Shuamao was still fighting with his opponent. That person. Soon, Hefeng's sight was attracted by Shuamao's opponent. The opponent was 1 head taller than Shuamao, with blue hair and yellow pupils, with M-shaped bangs, and a ponytail at the back, wearing a blue ninja uniform. He is. Hefeng insisted on thinking for a long time, but didn't think of what this person was called. Wait, did his name appear in the original work? Hefeng felt that he would never admit his mistakes. The person who was fighting Shuamao came from Cheyenne Village. And in the future, he became the 3rd generation of Fengying in Cheyenne Village. I didn't expect that he would also take the Zongan exam. And in the final round, I met Shuamao. Hefeng couldn't help but sigh. Although Shumo is a rare genius, he has the title of Konaha White Fang, but his opponent is a man with the title of the strongest wind shadow in the history of ninja. Today's Shumao is only 8 years old and has just graduated from the ninja school. Both his combat thinking and actual combat experience are far from sufficient. The most important thing is that the 3 generations of Fengying are ninjas with blood inheritance boundaries. Hefeng clearly remembers that the special physique of the 3rd generation of Fengying can transform its own chakra into magnetic force, thereby forming sand iron in any shape for attack and defense. Bit-Roy's magnetic escape is several levels stronger. But, the 3 generations of Fengying can also be said to be the most aggrieved Fengying in the history of ninja. Not only did he not even have a name in Naruto, he was also killed by the Red Sand Scorpion and made into a puppet. Before crossing, Hefeng also went to Zihu to discuss with netizens. How did the Red Sand Scorpion silently kill 3 generations of Fengying? The answers are varied, but none of them are tenable. Hefeng hasn't figured it out until now. How did the Red Sand Scorpion kill him? What's more bloody is, Dashawan did not know what method was used, and obtained the cells of the 3rd generation of Fengying, and then used the technique of reincarnating from the dirty soil. Advertisement. Resurrected this guy. At that time, the rebirth of Dashawan was not mature enough. Let the 3 generations of Fengying retain consciousness. As a result, as a thug who was reincarnated by the filthy soil of the Big Snake Pill, the first enemy he encountered was the Red Sand Scorpion that killed himself. Seeing himself being made an adult puppet, he almost exploded in anger at the time. If I were 3 generations of Fengying, I would want to find a piece of tofu and hit myself to death. But anyway, although the 3 generations of Fengying are deadly aggrieved, it is the strongest Fengying at any rate, and has a magnetic escape. It's no problem to win Shuamao. Suo Mao lost. Hefeng shook his head and said regretfully. If he can pass the first test, no matter whether he wins or loses in the official game, he may be promoted to Zongman. But the first game was actually eliminated. If you lose, you can only wait for next year. Suo Mao's luck is still not good enough. From Hefeng's point of view, the remaining ninjas in the last round were not weak. Regardless of the arrangement given to Shuamao's opponent, he has little hope of winning. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It's really a random lottery. And Shuamao is not directly possessed by the chieftain, and has drawn the next 3 generations of Feng. Suo Mao will lose. Sarufei frowned. Now the battle has just entered the white-hot stage, and the two sides are obviously a balanced duel. It should take some time to decide the winner. However, at the moment when Sarutobi's voice fell, Shuamao used his shuriken to flicker, and immediately a flashing technique flashed behind the 3rd generation of Feng. Naruto did not set the name of the 3 generations of Feng. The original name does not seem to be appropriate, just call the 3 generations of Feng. In the next second, Shuamao decisively pulled out the chakra knife behind him, and placed it on the neck of the 3rd generation Feng. The blade emits a cold light, and the profile of the 3 generations of Feng is reflected on it. According to the guidelines of Ninja World, once you expose your back to the enemy, you can only be slaughtered by others. Wonderful. Sarutobi rolled his throat and let out an exclamation. At the same time, his heart began to sigh with emotion. How come the Konoha imp nowadays are some monsters? Let's not talk about the breeze. Shuo Maoming had just graduated from the ninja school and had little actual combat experience. Advertisement. But what he just did is really fluent. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, it would be hard to believe that this was an offensive method used by an 8-year-old Sha Ren. Even Sarutobi felt that the chief examiner in examination hall number 1 could announce the result. However, even in such a desperate situation, the face of the 3 generations of Feng is still calm and unhurried. He spoke slowly and praised Shuamao. As expected of Konoha village, even a 7 or 8-year-old kid has such a high level. If you change to someone else, I'm afraid you have already lost. But it's a pity, your luck is not so good, you just met me. Shuamao frowned. Give up, I don't want to kill you. Although it is not clear that the 3 generations of Feng came from that self-confidence, there is no reason for him to be persuaded in this situation. And Shuo Mao confirmed that there was no problem with his chakra. This is not an illusion world, and his own chakra knife is indeed placed on the neck of the 3rd generation of Feng. Do it, if you can do it. 3 generations of Feng said without thinking. He didn't regard Shuamao's threat as the same thing. Soon, Shuamao's face began to turn green. He tried to shorten the distance between the chakra knife and the neck of the 3rd generation Feng. But who knows, his chakra knife seems to be frozen in the air, unable to move forward anymore. Shuamao couldn't even withdraw chakra's short knife. 3 generations of Feng gradually raised the corners of his mouth. He slowly turned around and looked at Shuamao with a surprised look. Then, the 3rd generation Feng slowly backed up a few steps, and drew a distance from Shuamao. To be honest, I intend to save this whole card for the official game. Konoha's Shinobu, you are very strong. But unfortunately, you met me who is stronger than you. I saw 3 generations of Feng standing in place, motionless. On the contrary, it was Shumo's chakra knife, as if awakened from self-awareness, he turned a direction in the air. No matter how much Shuamao used his best, he still couldn't change it. In the next second, this chakra short knife held by Shuamao was placed directly on Shuamao's neck. Examiner, can you announce the result? Otherwise, I will really kill him. 3 generations of Feng turned his head to look at the chief examiner in the number 1 examination room, and said loudly, Chapter 67 My opponent is Miku Feng. Advertisement. Before the chief examiner could respond to the 3 generations of Feng, Shuamao had already raised his right hand. Although he was very unwilling, Shuamao could see that he was far from the 3rd generation Feng's strength. Even if he continues to fight, he has no hope of winning. I lost. Shuamao announced to the chief examiner that he had given up. A wise choice. 3 generations of Feng's mouth raised, and he lifted the control of Shuomo Chakra's short knife. The chief examiner officially announced the results of this test. 3 generations of Feng from Cheyenne Village 1. Shumao's mood was a little depressed, although he had known for a long time that the ninjas who came to take the Zongnan exam were all excellent ninjas from various villages. Among them, there are naturally people who are more powerful than themselves. But stopping there still made him feel uncomfortable. You have performed very well. Seeing the wind, he walked up to comfort Shuamao. You are only 8 years old this year, and you are still very young. It will be fine to come again next year. When he heard this, Shuamao opened his mouth, and stopped talking. He only didn't want to hear what Hefeng said. You are obviously 1 year younger than me. And, come over to my side so soon, and behave so calmly. He must have killed his opponent in a second and advanced to the official game. Although Shuamao's hard power is not enough, his analytical ability is quite outstanding. Congratulations, Zefeng. Of course, Shuamao is not a stingy person. As a companion of the Japanese style, Shuamao is very happy for him. Although this is the result he had guessed long ago. With the strength of the gentle style, Shuamao couldn't imagine the scene where he would lose to others. Let's go get something to eat. After several battles in a row, it's time to replenish energy. Hefeng patted Shuamao on the shoulder and suggested. Speaking of, Shuamao killed the parents of the Red Sand Scorpion during the Second Ninja World War. This led to the Red Sand Scorpion indulging in the puppet and unable to extricate itself. Finally killed 3 generations of Feng, and made them into puppets. Thinking of this, Hefeng couldn't help but glanced at Sandai Feng. It's not over yet, gentle. But at this moment, Seeing Hefeng preparing to take Shumo to eat barbecue, Sarutobi quickly reminded, there will be a lottery in a while to decide who you will play against in the official match. Advertisement. As that's so, Hefeng murmured, he really didn't remember the process of Zongren's exam. Since Sarutobi said so, he had to put the barbecue issue aside. Wait until all the competitions are over. 16 people who were promoted to the official competition, under the sign of the examiners, came to the number 6 examination room. Looking around in a gentle breeze. Except for the 3 generations of Feng, there is no endurance that he is familiar with. Judging by the pattern of guarding the forehead, 9 of them are ninjas from Konoha village, 3 Iwanin, 2 Sand ninjas, 1 Takanin, and 1 Kushinin. It's no wonder that Zongren takes exams frequently up to twice a year. Even if all the Shinin who participated in the official competition were promoted, Konoha would only add 9 Zongnen. And this situation is almost impossible. In Naruto's Zongnen exam, Shikamaru was the only one who was promoted to Zongnen. To some extent, the Chunin test is really cruel. In other words, the people who can become Konoha shinobu are selected by 100 li. But, so how did a ninja like Iruka pass the Chunin test? Just when Hefeng couldn't help but complain. Standing in the room on the viewing platform, he suddenly spoke. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. As he began to speak, the entire examination room fell silent for an instant. Especially those examiners straightened their backs and looked at the door with respect. Although Janjian has not been officially appointed yet, for everyone, he is already the 2nd generation of Hokage. First of all, I would like to congratulate you. Congratulations on your successful promotion to the official competition of the Zongnen exam. Then, he asked Sarutobi to take out a box and walk to Hefeng and others. The official tournament is different from the knockout tournament. Winning or losing is not an assessment criterion. The performance of Hefeng and others in the official competition. In this case, naturally, there is no need for dark box operations. Each of you pulled out a note from the box in my hand. Let's start with you, gentle. Sarutobi held a wooden box in both hands and walked to Hefeng. Yeah, Hefeng nodded in response, and grabbed a note casually. Others followed the actions of Hefeng in turn, until the paper in the box was exhausted. It's all done. Now from left to right, announce the numbers you got. Seeing that Sarutobi returned to the original position, he said to everyone. I am number 1. Hefeng announced the result first, and then heard the trumpets ringing next to him. I am number 7. Number 8. Advertisement. I am on the 11th. I got the 13th. ... After everyone has announced the numbers they have drawn, the order of the official game will be announced. In fact, the numbers drawn by Hefeng and others are exactly the opponents to face next. Number 1 and number 2 are a group. Number 3 and number 4 are a group. And so on. In that case, the opponent I met in the official match is. Hefeng's gaze narrowed slightly, recalling the report just now. The person who drew number 2. Surprisingly. The 3 generations of Feng who just defeated Shuamao. It turned out to be him. Hefeng turned his head and glanced at his opponent in the official match, only to find that the opponent was also looking at him. Seeing Hefeng's immature facial features, 3 generations of Feng immediately recalled that when he fought against Shuamao, he came over to watch the battle. It's the kid just now. I didn't expect that my opponent in the official game would be him. Hefeng whispered. His goal is to replace Sarutobi Hizen as the 3rd generation of Hokage. The other party is the future 3 generations of Feng. 3 generations of Hokage versus 3 generations of Feng. Of course, Shu Fan would naturally not say such an idea. Because no one would believe it. Then, continue to explain in the door. The official competition will be held in a week. At that time, I, Feng Ying, Tu Ying, and the name of the country of fire will all be present as the judges of the official competition. We will give a final evaluation based on your performance in the official competition. Those who are judged to be qualified for Zongnen will be promoted even if they lose the game. On the contrary, it will be the same. The real purpose of the official game is also to test you, what kind of judgments you will make when you encounter a strong enemy that you can't deal with. What kind of tactics will be used. After all, what kind of situation the ninja receives can happen. I hope you can remember this and improve yourself in the time to come. He put his hands around his chest, and said loudly to all the shinins present. Chapter 68 3 Shadows Gather. Advertisement. For the next week, Hefeng did not perform missions with Sarutobi and Tsukumo. Instead, I spent all my time on cultivation. Although the official competition of Zongnen exams is not to determine the winners or losers, but to determine whether the contestants can be promoted to Zongnen based on their performance in the official competitions, but it's not just between the pillars and the door, even Feng Ying, Toying, and the great names of the fire country will attend this Zongnen exam. For the ninja village who has just entered the age of ninjas, this is an unprecedented prosperity. As the grandson of the pillars, I am highly anticipated. If I lose to someone else, I can really find a piece of tofu and kill me. The most important thing is that the daimyo of the country of fire has a certain right to speak for the appointment of Hokage. In other words, for the Zephyr who wants to replace Sarutobi Hizen as the 3rd generation of Naruto. This Zongnen exam is undoubtedly an excellent opportunity to prove yourself. Since you want to become Hokage, you naturally need everyone's approval. Strength is often a very important measure. However, the opponent that Hefeng met in the official game is undoubtedly the super genius of Cheyenne Village. The 3 generations of Feng Ying in the future. And it is different from Sarutobi, Danzo, and Shumo. 3 generations of Feng is the owner of the blood succession boundary, which is his birth blood. Even if you don't practice, you can kill a well-trained ninja with the help of magnetic escape. And because his chakra is magnetic, not only will the magnetic ninja not cause him harm, it will become his weapon. It will take at least half a month for Hefeng distance to check in next time. If you want to improve yourself before the official game, you can only pass through hard training. Cannot be entrusted to the punch card package. But, with the help of Medbo, Hefeng refreshed its panel data once again. Host. Hefeng. Open black lens bracket power. 25 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket speed. 21 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket physical strength. 28 close black lens bracket. Abilities. Chakra between pillars LV1, 8 doors Dunjia LV6, Water Dungeons Water Array Wall LV10, Water Dungeons Water Dragon Ball LV10, Water Dungeons Water Body Technique LV10, Water Dungeons Water Prison Technique LV10. Close black lens bracket. My current physical strength is stronger than Danzo. Advertisement. Although it is still a bit reluctant to use the Chao Peacock, it should be no problem to maintain the Jingmun state. Hefeng made a rough analysis of his own strength. The day approaching the Nakanin exam, Hefeng did nothing to get his body fully rested. Then, the day of the official game has arrived. In order to make the Japanese style better, Kuma started preparing food in the morning. Protein, vitamins, moisture. He fully considered it. It is obviously impossible to say that Hefeng's mood is not agitated at all. In any case, his opponent this time is the next 3 generations of Feng. After eating the breakfast prepared by Mujian, he went out and rushed to the official competition venue. The venue for this competition is an open-air arena that can accommodate thousands of people. Long ago, Janjian was ready for today. Although it can't be compared with Naruto's period, in today's era, it is already a very big hand. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. When Hefeng came to the center of the arena as indicated by the chief examiner, there were already full seats here. As for the person who served as the chief examiner this time, it was Sarutobi Hizen. On the largest spectator stand, there were 3 chairs. The person sitting on the far left is not someone else, but the first Hokage, known as the god of ninjas, Senjujujuma. Although the current pillar is terminally ill, and all the affairs of the village are handed over to the family, he is still a nominal shadow. As the host, he should sit here. Shinsho Janma, who was about to inherit the second generation of Hokage, stood behind him with his arms around his chest. Ha ha ha, it's been a long time since I saw you. As soon as he noticed Feng, Toying took the seat from the right, and immediately greeted him with a hearty laugh. The outstanding ninjas from various ninja villages gather together, and they don't fight for the purpose of fighting. This is undoubtedly the ideal picture between the pillars. The journey must be very tiring, right? It's really hard work for you, Master Feng, Master Toying. In order to express his gratitude, Zhujian deliberately got up from the chair and bowed his head to the person who came. Big brother. Advertisement. On the contrary, she was embarrassed and quickly reminded her to pay attention to his own image. The auditorium below is full of people, and the shadows in a dignified village bow their heads to others. What's the matter? Forgot what I said in the previous 5 shadows meeting. Feijian's tone was rather helpless. However, Zuma didn't care about his gaffe. He turned his head and touched the back of his head with his right hand and smiled. Haha, I'm so happy. This is the outstanding shinin of various shinobu villages in history. It is the first time to come to Konaha to participate in Zongnan exam. In fact, all the shadows were invited. Although Shui Ying and Rai Ying did not come, it was unprecedented for 3 movies to serve as judges. In this regard, Between the Pillars was very moved. Master Naruto is still as sincere as ever, but I believe that no one will despise you because of this, especially the shadows of the various shinobu villages. The first generation Dokage Shihei said without thinking. In the first 5 shadows meeting, he recognized the ideals of the pillars. Even if the pillars take the initiative to lower their heads, he does not think this is a weak performance. The opposite of this just shows that Zhujian is a bold and upright ninja who doesn't stick to small things. He is a powerful and excellent ninja. The first generation Seal Fierce Battle from Cheyenne Village also had the same view. Master Toying is right. In this way, Lido and Shihi sat down separately. It is worth mentioning that Kima intended to sit in the middle of the column to highlight the identity of the host and the strength of Konaha. However, after thinking about it, he refused the arrangement. The shadow energy of other villages is not far away, and it is very rare to be invited to Konaha. Why bother about who was sitting there? It's time to start the Zongnan selection exam. Waiting for the fierce fight, after he sat down, the pillars walked to the edge of the spectator stand and looked condescendingly at the contestants this time. Then he focused his eyes on the auditorium. Before the column opened to everyone, the whole scene suddenly boiled. Especially for the villagers of Konaha village, Zuma is undoubtedly their most respected ninja. First of all, thank you all the guests, thank you all for gathering here to take the Zongnan selection examination held in our Konaha hidden village. Thank you very much too, Master Feng and Master Toying, who came to Konaha hidden village to serve as the judge of this Zongnan selection examination. Next, the 16 outstanding Shurin who have passed the pre-selection will enter the formal selection competition. Please, everyone, watch it. Chapter 69. To be honest, he is my grandson between the pillars. Advertisement. Because Hefeng and the 3rd generation of Feng drew number 1 and number 2, the first round of the official competition started with them. Listen well. As the official examiner, Sarutobi Hizen stated the rules to Hefeng and others. Although the terrain is different, the rules are the same as in the pre-selection. The game will stop when one party dies or concedes defeat. But if the outcome is divided, I will stop the game and avoid unnecessary casualties, understand? Hefeng and others responded one after another, expressing that they understood the rules of the official game. Yeah, Sarutobi nodded, expecting Hefeng's performance, and then announced to the audience. In the first round, Hefeng played against the three generations of Feng Ying. Except for the two of them, all the other contestants went to the lounge to watch the game. On the cinema, the first generation of Feng Ying fighting emphasized to the shadows around him, this game is worth looking forward to. In fact, the reason why Feng Ying and Toying were invited to attend did not all depend on the face between the pillars. But this Zongan exam is a good opportunity to show the power of Cheyenne Village. A ninja is a profession that relies on the task of a client. The more tasks you receive, the more rewards you get. And economic power is often the basic condition for strengthening military power. Especially for Cheyenne Village, where 80% of its territory is desert and resource scarce, it is even more necessary to entrust tasks to improve the economy. To be honest, Lidu hopes that through the strength of the three generations of Feng Ying, everyone will realize the power of Cheyenne Village, so as to attract more clients to choose them. He is a genius of the younger generation in our village, and he is also the owner of the blood succession boundary. Lido said with great pride. No, just using genius is not enough to describe his terrifying talent, it should be more appropriate to use monsters. When he was 10 years old, he had already performed an S-level mission. I planned to promote him to Zongren, but was rejected. He believed that his strength needed more exercise. This kind of humility is a rare quality. Lidu is not bragging, but sincerely thinks so, and at the same time cultivates him as a future wind and shadow. In fact, he will become the strongest wind shadow in history in the future, which is a good testament to Lidu's vision. It's no exaggeration to say that I think he should be the strongest in this Zongan exam. Said fiercely. Advertisement. His tone was full of confidence. Are you the strongest ninja? It seems that Master Feng Ying is really optimistic about the ninjas in your village. The first generation Dokage Shihei on the side couldn't help but vomit. It's a pity that such an excellent Shuren didn't meet our ninjas in Yenian village. Otherwise, I would really like to see if the violent wind can shake the rock. Tying Shihei is not to be outdone. Let him recognize that the strongest Sha Ren is in Cheyenne village, it is better to kill him directly. His will to stone has always been tenacious and unmoving. Ha ha ha, it seems that Master Feng Ying and Master Tukage have cultivated excellent ninjas. Worrying that Lidu and Shihei would quarrel, Zujian quickly intervened in a conversation. He smiled and slapped his thigh, looking at Sandai Feng Ying with excitement. Is Cheyenne village the strongest Sha Ren? The luck of the gentle wind is really good. Feng Ying fighting. Did I hear it wrong? The Hokage-sama said just now that he was lucky. Shouldn't it be bad luck? 3 generations of Feng Ying is the strongest in this Zongan exam. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. You Konoha's ninja, will you lose? However, Lidu just thought about it in his heart, and didn't really say it. Hefeng, is the kid down there? Shihei on the side showed a pensive expression. I always feel that he is a bit familiar, as if I have seen him there. However, at his age, it is impossible for himself to have something to do with him. When you say that, I also feel as if I have seen him there, especially his face. Lido's eyes narrowed slightly, focusing on Hefeng's face. I always feel that Hefeng's face is a little bit awkward. It should be a very similar relationship with me, Zhu Jian explained. What? Lido and Shihi spoke in unison, which suddenly realized. Hefeng is indeed somewhat similar to Zhu Jian. Wait, the breeze is. Suddenly, Lidu, who was the first generation Feng Ying, seemed to realize something. It's true that Hefeng is my grandson. Although he is only 7 years old this year, he has more strength than his peers. Advertisement. I want Hefeng to be that person's opponent, and I will definitely not disappoint Master Feng Ying. Furthermore, being able to challenge Cheyenne village's strongest Sha Ren in the official competition will definitely bring great gains to Hefeng. Whether it is for the column or the door, Hefeng is a Konoha ninja with a terrifying talent. And they firmly believe that within 10 years, the wind must be Konoha Hokage. Based on this concept, Zujian naturally hopes that Hefeng will meet outstanding opponents on the way to growth. Instead, Lidu and Shihei stood blankly on the spot. They never expected that the grandson of the first generation of Naruto would actually take this Zongan exam. Although as judges, Lidu and Shihei got the list of contestants this time. However, since the surname Shinsho was not written on Hefeng's information, and the Hefeng information was unremarkable, neither Lido and Shihi paid attention to him. I have to say that the identity of the grandson between the pillars is like a halo, shrouded in Hefeng. And what makes these shadows most concerned about? Does Hefeng inherit the power of the pillars? Although the current ninja world has achieved peace under the supervision of the pillars, Konaha, who owns the fertile land, has always been coveted by people. What's more, every first-generation movie is a hero, who defeated each family by virtue of its powerful strength, and established the Shinobu village. None of them hoped that Konoha gave birth to the second Senjujuma. With the identity of the wind exploded between the pillars. Lidu and Shihei began to re-examine Hefeng. The first round of the game, start. Sarutobi shouted out loud. The whole auditorium began to boil. But, Hefeng and Sandai Feng Ying didn't do anything after Sarutobi gave an order. Before the start of the contest, please allow me to ask you a question. 3 generations of Feng raised his mouth and said towards Hefeng. What is the problem? 3 generations of Feng held his forehead. He is 11 years old this year, and he is no longer a 7 or 8-year-old kid. He can't bear to take a shot at a kid like Hefeng. Do you want to abstain? 3 generations of Fuying spread his hands. I read your ninja profile. I thought you were late in development, but I didn't expect you to be only 7 years old. Although it is a good thing to have goals, I think you can wait until you are a little older to take the Zongan exam. 3 generations of Feng kindly suggested Japanese style. It's not out of arrogance, but worry that after Feng sees his own power, he will have a psychological shadow due to the huge power gap. Chapter 70 Hefeng vs 3 generations of Feng. Advertisement. You do have such capital. Feng looked at the 3 generations of Feng in front of him and gave a high evaluation. It is different from the magnetic escape of Troy. The 3rd generation of Feng's magnetic escape is more advanced. He can summon sand and iron like waves in an instant, and he can freely control the iron in the sand. As long as he wants to, he can use the same absolute defense as Gaara. Even, the sand and iron quality of the 3 generations of Feng is better than that of Gaara's sand during the Zongan exam. But my current physical skills have surpassed Shaoli during the Zongan exam. And there is also the ability of Muji to heal, which helps me eliminate the damage caused by the 8-door Dunjia to my body. This battle is simply the high-end version of Shaoli versus the high-end version of Gaara. Come on. There was a gentle voice, indicating that the 3rd generation of Feng could make a move at any time. Feng is not an arrogant person. What's more, the sand iron of the 3 generations of Feng has a certain degree of restraint on physical skills, and it is not a sensible behavior to attack rashly. The safest tactic is to figure out how far the 3 generations of Feng in this period can use sand and iron. In that case, I can only respect your choice, Konaha's ninja. Seeing Hefeng made up his mind, the 3 generations of Feng no longer discouraged him. He stood on the spot, forming a knot mark in his hands, and granular iron and sand appeared out of thin air beside him. It looked like black sand. Next second, the sand iron condenses into needles and flies toward the gentle breeze. Magnetic escape sand iron Shiu. As the 3 generations of Feng said, his attack is like a gust of wind and rain. But, Feng is not Shaoli after all, he can do nothing but physical skills. At the moment when he noticed that the 3 generations of Feng launched a first-hand attack, Hefeng's hands were imprinted and Showdown was released. Water escape water front wall. With a low roar from the wind, the ground shook under his feet, and clear springs emerged, rising to the sky, like a wall, resisting the sand and iron Shiu of the 3 generations of Feng. On the cinema, it really deserves to be the grandson of Lord Hokage, who can use water escape of that scale in an environment where there is no water. Toying Shihei couldn't help exclaiming, he was not complimenting, but was really shocked by the talent of the gentle wind. The waterfront wall released by the gentle wind is 4 or 5 meters high. Advertisement. Don't talk about a 7-year-old kid. Even the General Shang Ren, without taking advantage of the terrain, not many people can release this scale of water escape. My 4-tailed monkey. The people who co-author the Sensho clan are a group of chakra monsters, aren't they? In fact, even the pillars were surprised. These days, he has been busy receiving Fuying and Toying, and discussing the Zongan exam with the daimyo. He is not clear about Hefeng's performance in the preliminary selection. Hefeng, when did you learn to escape from water? However, although Zhu Jian was shocked, he suppressed this emotion out of politeness. The Sha Ren in Cheyenne village is also very powerful. I have never seen such a strange technique. Zhu Jian praised the Japanese opponent. That's natural. Feng Lidu nodded slightly, and then explained to the pillars. The ninjutsu he uses is a blood succession boundary, and he can freely manipulate sand and iron to attack and defend. Especially in defense, he not only transformed the kunai thrown by the enemy into his own weapon, but also used sand and iron to protect himself, like a copper wall and an iron wall. The corners of Feng Ying's mouth raised, and her tone was full of meaning. In his opinion, the sand iron possessed by the 3 generations of Feng Ying is the strongest defense of the entire ninja world. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Given enough time for the 3 generations of Feng Ying to grow up, he can definitely surpass himself. Hokage-sama, although your grandson can use that scale of water escape among people of the same age, it is enough to be called a genius, but it is still inferior to my disciples. Feng Ying Lidu never let go of the opportunity to highlight the 3 generations of Feng Ying. Just water escape, it is impossible to stop the attack of sand and iron. Although the current mainstream of the ninja world is peace, the total number of clients is only that much. In order to win the number of commissioned tasks, competition and suppression are all necessary means for each ninja village. Even if fierce fight couldn't beat the pillars, he would not give up the opportunity to highlight the strength of Cheyenne village. However, you can cultivate a 7-year-old Japanese wind into such an excellent water escape ninja. Naruto-sama, it seems that you have devoted all your efforts to your grandson. Shihi on the side spoke again. No matter what, he didn't want Feng Ying to show off. However, it's the first time I have seen Hefeng use water escape. I thought he would not use ninjutsu. Zhu Jian was startled. Although he is a powerful ninja god, his thoughts are sometimes very simple. When he thinks of something, he will say it directly. Fierce fight. Shihei, what do you think Hefeng can't use ninjutsu? How did he become a ninja? How did you pass the pre-selection? Advertisement. Feijian, what the hell is going on? Zhu Jian couldn't help asking Feijian. Unexpectedly, there was a dull expression on his face. Didn't you teach Feng Shui escape? Between the columns. For a time, the two eyes faced each other, and their eyes were full of confusion. Almost subconsciously, the two of them couldn't help but say in unison, couldn't it be self-taught by the wind again? Fierce fight. Shahei. What is self-study? Is there any self-study on ninjutsu? Also, why is it again? And many more. What is your personal reaction? A dignified Konoha village's first-generation Hokage, and a man who will inherit the second-generation Hokage. Why was it shocked by a 7-year-old kid? What is going on with this feeling of disharmony? Thinking of this, Lidu and Shahei's eyes focused on Hefeng again. Sure enough, isn't it? Hefeng's eyes narrowed slightly, and he shook his head. The waterfront wall did block the sand and iron of the 3 generations of seals, but as time passed, his sand and iron would still penetrate the waterfront wall. It's really worthy of being the 3 generations of Feng in the future. While lamenting the power of the 3 generations of Feng, Hefeng's eyes revealed a frenzy. What he needs is such a powerful opponent. It seems that I must also take the challenge seriously. After speaking, the gentle breeze guided chakra to break through the body's restriction on chakra's mobility. The third door, the life door, open. Hefeng's skin turned from white to red, and green energy burst out from all over his body. At the moment when the first fine sand iron needle of the 3 generations of Feng broke through the defense of the waterfront, Hefeng disappeared in place. The 3 generations of Feng, who had always maintained a steady state, suddenly widened his eyes. Disappear. Disappeared. Soon. Behind you. The gentle breeze sounded behind him, and then he fisted up. Chapter 71 The battle that shocked the 4 powerful shadow-level masters. Advertisement. By virtue of the high-speed movement in the raw state, the gentle breeze disappeared instantly. When the 3rd generation Feng reacted, Hefeng was already standing behind him, grabbing his fists with 5 fingers, and swinging out. What? 3 generations of Feng's face changed in shock, and he did not expect Hefeng to move at such a terrifying speed. But, the 3 generations of Feng are not waiting for leisure. He is not only the strongest Sha Ren in Cheyenne village, but also a personal disciple of the 1st generation of Feng fierce fight. Whether it is responsiveness, still judgment in an instant. He is quite good. Almost subconsciously, the 3 generations of Feng condensed the sand and iron surrounding him behind him, forming a black iron wall. Boom. A loud noise exploded between the two of them. The sand iron shield, formed by the 3 generations of Feng was directly blasted into a C shape by the fist of Hefeng. What a terrifying fist. 3 generations of Feng's pupils gradually enlarged, showing a shocked expression. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would be hard for him to believe that such an amazing destructive power came from a 7-year-old kid. It's really worthy of being the 3 generations of Feng in the future. I was able to block my attack with sand and iron at a critical moment. Hefeng couldn't help sighing in his heart. However, Hefeng did not feel depressed. If the next 3 generations of Feng are not able to withstand a single blow, then this contest, Hefeng can be a weak for nothing. The blow was unsuccessful, and Hefeng moved again. It's gone again. 3 generations Feng exclaimed again. He can neither understand nor imagine. What method did Hefeng use to train his physical skills to such a powerful level? When he was moving, his naked eyes couldn't even catch it. It's unbelievable. Is this really the speed that humans can have? Until this moment, 3 generations of Feng realized how ridiculous his thoughts were. He even worried that his blood inheritance limit would cause a psychological shadow on Hefeng. Just such an exaggerated movement speed is enough to give K's the title of Konoha's strongest Sha Ren. This contest is basically Konoha village's strongest Chunin versus Sandyakura village's strongest Chunin. Hefeng, I want to apologize to you. Although it is difficult to capture the actions of the wind in the eyes of the 3 generations of Feng, he is not without countermeasures. Today's Hefeng is indeed a very strong physique master, but every time he makes a move, he can't hide his style of fist. Based on this, the 3 generations of Feng can determine the attack path of the wind, and then condense the sand and iron to resist the fists of the wind. Then, advertisement. While blocking the Japanese wind attack, the 3 generations of Feng began to try to grab the Japanese wind with sand iron. Once Hefeng's hands and feet are firmly bound by sand and iron, the battle will be won. But before that, the 3 generations of Feng felt that he had to apologize to Hefeng. When I first saw you, I really thought you were just an ordinary Konoha shinobu. It also requires you to take the initiative to abstain. It now seems that such an idea is simply wrong. You are an opponent worthy of my all-out effort. While speaking these words to Hefeng, the 3 generations of Feng extracted more chakras and transformed them into black sand iron. However, 3 generations of Feng did not use all sand and iron for defense. Instead, the sand iron is divided into 2 parts. One part is transformed into a shield, which is used to block the fist and foot attacks of the wind, and the other part of sand iron is compressed with high density to form a sharp spear. Then, toward the root where the Hefeng might attack, stab it out. On the cinema, a surprised look appeared in the door. He is anticipating the attack of the gentle wind. He thought that this contest would come to an end as the breeze entered Bamandunjia. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. Unexpectedly, the 3 generations of Feng not only were not killed by the wind, but found a way to deal with the wind. The most important thing is that Hefeng has only become Sha Ren not long ago. In the pre-selection for the Zongan exam, he didn't use the 8 Dunjia at a time. This means that it is impossible for the 3 generations of Feng to obtain information about Hefeng in advance. He is in actual combat, adapting to the speed of the wind, and growing rapidly. Between the pillars, he spoke out his thoughts. In his opinion, this is like shogi. Each round, chess players have countless ways to move. But there is often only one method that can really push the opponent into desperation, or revitalize the situation. The key is, although this is common sense shared by everyone, in the urgent time, under invisible pressure, quickly find the most correct step. It is often not an easy task. In addition to daily hard training, you also need a very high level of talent. And the 3 generations of Fengying in Cheyenne village are undoubtedly the genius among the geniuses. Master Fengying, it seems that you have indeed cultivated an outstanding disciple. The tone between the pillars was full of excitement. He recognized the talent of the 3 generations of Fengying and recognized his strength. But, Zhu Jian didn't think that peace would lose. Because Shengman is not the limit of gentleness. Advertisement. He can also become stronger. It is great that Hefeng can meet such an opponent in the official competition. Between the pillars sighed in his heart. But Fengying Lidu had already broken out in a cold sweat. Because through the dialogue between the pillars and the door, an extremely astonishing fact lay in front of him. Gentle, only recently became a ninja. And, before that, he had not received formal training. And the 3 generations of Fengying, but after accepting 5 years of his own teaching, he cultivated his current fighting instinct. If he met a gentle breeze when he was 7 years old, I'm afraid it wasn't. The doubtful life to be hit. Hefeng is the real monster. The corner of lies bickering gasped. What is going on with the Thousand Hands clan? Why are all monsters? Hokage-sama, your grandson, really only 7 years old. The first generation Taingshihei on the side began to tremble. Although his Yinyan village has 3 Shuren entering the official competition, Shihei knows their strengths well. It is no exaggeration to say that even if the 3 of them go together, there is no chance of winning in front of Hefeng. It is likely to be instantly killed by the wind. Even the battle between the 3 generations of Fengying and Hefeng is now evenly matched. But you know, Hefeng is only 7 years old. Give him another 5 years before he can reach the age of the 3rd generation Fengying. And in 5 years, how much can he grow with his natural talent? How much progress? I am afraid it is immeasurable. In such a comparison, the genius aura of the 3 generations of Fengying will become bleak. This is truly terrible. Damn it. Why is Hefeng not his grandson? If he were his grandson, he would definitely treat him as a future soil shadow training. Even Shihei can assert, within 10 years, Hefeng will surely grow into the strongest shadow in history. For a time, the battle between Hefeng and the 3rd generation of Fengying directly shocked the 4 film class powerhouses. Chapter 72. Is this also in your plan? Advertisement. Before the official competition of Zhongnan exams, no one expected such a situation. The Zhong Ren in the audience, and even the Shang Ren, all looked shocked and sluggish. Stormy seas threw up in their hearts, and they couldn't calm down for a long time. Is this really a battle between 2 ninjas? I feel that their strength is no longer inferior to that of some ninjas. It's terrible. Who is that kid who looks only 7 or 8 years old? All of a sudden, the audience on the scene talked a lot, and couldn't wait to understand everything about Hefeng. However, it was not until this time that they realized. They don't know anything about the breeze. The only part they knew was this enigmatic little devil, extremely powerful. Furthermore, when ninjas fight against each other, they often don't easily show their trump cards. In this battle, the gentle wind is still in the warm-up stage. Uchiha Kami will naturally not miss this match. He sat with his family members, watching the performance of the Japanese style. Actually, after Uchiha Satsuna lost to Hefeng, everyone in the Uchiha clan felt indignant. Because I promised them, this time Zhongnan exams, they will be given a place. But now, they are very jealous. Why was a genius like Hefeng born in Senshu's family? If he were from the Uchiha clan, how wonderful it would be. On the other side, Danzo, Xiaochun, and Yan were sitting in a row. No matter how many times I watch it, I feel Hefeng is like a monster. Yan couldn't help but complain, Danzo, I advise you to give up. No matter how hard you try, you can't catch up with Master Hefeng. But where do you need someone to remind you? No one understands the power of gentleness better than me. Especially you. You just stood aside and watched the battle with the wind. And I have experienced it myself. However, why doesn't Master Hefeng use ninjas? Danzo was surprised at this. At the same time, Hefeng and the 3 generations of Fengying on the field come and go. Bang, bang, bang. The breeze keeps using his fists and feet, and covers the chakras on the skin, while protecting himself and enhancing his power. For the 3 generations of Fengying who possessed magnetic escape, Hefeng's ninja would only become his weapon. Shuo Mao's chakra knife was put on his neck by him, which is a good proof. For this reason, the wind can only use fists. Advertisement. But no matter how you say it, the 3 generations of Fengying are not waiting. In this battle, he gradually adapted to the speed of the wind, and slowly figured out his fighting style. It can also be said to be an offensive style. Once these formulas are discovered, the 3 generations of Fengying can make predictions about Hefeng's next attack. For example, after he uses his right whip leg, he will often receive a left jab. Ended. 3 generations of Fengying suddenly shouted, cancelled the shield of sand and iron, and then broke the cauldron to sink the boat, manipulated the sand and iron to change the shape of the arm, and grabbed forward. Click. 3 generations of Feng first wrapped a part of Hefeng's left arm with sand and iron, and then manipulated the remaining sand and iron to cover Hefeng's body, completely restraining him. In this way, Hefeng can no longer use the terrifying high-speed movement. On the cinema, between the pillars, he saw through the 3 generations of Feng Ying's strategy sharply. He chose to abandon his defenses to maximize the speed of sand and iron. Although he did catch the wind, but if he makes a mistake, he will expose his flaws to the wind. This requires not only a cool head, but also enough courage. His eyes widened between the pillars. In his opinion, the battle was extremely exciting. The gentle breeze is neither careless nor underestimating the enemy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi, but the growth in the battle, the strategy is inferior. Gentle. The loser is not injustice. Seeing that the 3 generations of Feng Ying had caught the wind, a triumphant expression appeared on the face of the first generation of Feng Ying Lidu. Even your grandson of Master Naruto lost to shamanin from our village. This is enough to show the strength of Cheyenne village. Presumably those clients will definitely choose their Cheyenne village in the future. Excited, Toying Shihei secretly smacked his tongue. Whether it was Hefeng or the 3 generations of Feng Ying, he felt like a monster, and he felt uncomfortable when thinking of the younger generation in Yanyan village. Unexpectedly, the Shurin of Cheyenne village should have such a strong strength. He wrapped his hands around his chest, staring condescendingly at Hefeng. Even Hefeng is not his opponent. I didn't even dream of it. The one who defeated Danzo, defeated Troy, showed his horrifying talent again and again. He would lose to a shinobu from Cheyenne village. However, just when everyone thought that the wind captured by the 3 generations of Feng Ying was about to surrender. But the corners of his mouth rose, and a smile appeared. You are really strong, but you don't seem to pay attention to your feet. What? 3 generations of Feng Ying's face changed in shock. His attention was all on the offensive of Zefeng, and he didn't notice his feet at all. Advertisement. At this time, the 3 generations of Feng Ying are standing on a puddle. It is the clear water that Hefeng left when he used the water escape and waterfront wall. Could it be that your attack just now? 3 generations of Feng Ying's eyes suddenly became bigger than those of a bull's eye, and he, who was clever in mind, reacted instantly. When he is attacking, he will force himself to retreat. In fact, his real purpose is to push himself into this puddle. From the beginning, he never thought of using muscle power to decide the victory or defeat. He set a game for himself. By the time Feng Ying 3 generations realized this, it was already too late. Because all the sand and iron have been used by him to restrain the wind. As a result, the breeze that he firmly grasped with sand and iron melted at a speed visible to the naked eye. Surprisingly, the art of water body, and the real gentle breeze was hidden in the water as early as the water escape waterfront wall was used. Thump. Water splashed on the puddle, and the breeze quickly rushed out, grabbing a fist with 5 fingers, and blasting Feng Ying's chin with 3 generations of dragon fists. This is not. In the process of Thang Long, the breeze further broke through the body's restrictions on the flow of chakra. The 5th door, Duman, open. Hefeng's forehead burst into blue veins, and the green energy on his body became more vigorous. Boom. One shot of the dragon fist hits Feng Ying's chin and knocks him into the air instantly. On the cinema, between the Naruto pillars. Feng Ying fighting. Toying Shihei. No one thought that the wind that was already inevitable would have been reversed in this way. Hefeng used the technique of water body. When Feijian's mouth could not help but become an O shape. Not only is the water dragon bullet and the water wall, he even knows how to hydrate the body. Moreover, it has been seamlessly applied to actual combat. From the very beginning, the 3 generations of Feng Ying were caught in the trap of the gentle wind. The most frightening thing is that I can't remember myself or Sarutobi handing over the tactics of Hefeng. At this moment, in the interim, I was shocked again. Chapter 73 I will remember your name. Advertisement. What? 3 generations of Feng Ying were shocked. He didn't expect Hefeng to hide in the water at the beginning. Is this also in your calculations? Because the 3 generations of Feng Ying used all the sand and iron to restrain the water body of the wind, he did not have time to recover the sand and iron. Between him and the wind, there was no obstacle for a while. Can't defend. There is no time to dodge. Boom. Hefeng throws him out of the chin of 3 generations of Feng Ying in a Thanglong boxing. Thump. 3 generations of Feng Ying's body was like a kite with a broken line, flying upside down, falling heavily to the ground, rolling several times before stopping. The gentle breeze fell from the sky and stood firm. The chin is a very fragile part of the human body. When suffering a huge blow, it often makes people faint. What's more, it was a punch in Duman's state. Hefeng felt that this battle had already been decided. Examiner, can you announce the result? Hefeng said to Sarutobi who was on the side, and relieved the state of Hachiman Dunjia. In any case, this time the opponent is the next 3 generations of Feng Ying. You know, the greatest commonality of Feng Ying is. No one can beat it in the early stage, and no one can beat it in the later stage. Xiao Li of the 8th door Dunjia, all lost to Gaara. And the sand iron of the 3rd generation of Feng Ying, whether it is attack performance or defensive performance, is better than Gaara. Obviously, I have this information, and I chose to head with the 3rd generation of Feng Ying, then my fighting mind is really stupid. Hefeng sighed in his heart. This tactic was not only easy to use, but also showed his combat mind. It should be of great help to become Hokage in the future. After all, Naruto, Fukage, Dokage, the ninjas and civilians of Konaha village, and the daimyo of Fire Country are all watching this battle. But who knows, just when Sarutobi Hizen was about to announce the victory or defeat. 3 generations of Feng, who was punched by Hefeng and flew out more than 10 meters away, unexpectedly. Sit up. I saw sand and iron falling off on the face of the 3 generations of Feng. It's really hanging. 3 generations of Feng let out a surprise. When he was punched by Hefeng, he really thought he would die. Advertisement. Because it is only the gentle breeze in the lively state, there is the power of punching the sand and iron wall into a C shape. Not to mention the power of a punch in Duman state. Even with sand and iron protection, I can't bear it. However, there is no unending grudge between them. This is just a Zongan exam. So at the last moment, Hefeng just threw a normal punch without exerting any strange force. In other words, gentle breeze releases water, and for a ninja like Sandai Feng, who can't see through such details, he can even guess the reason for the harmony of the wind and water. This is just an exam. What's your name? 3 generations of Feng leaned on his knees and straightened up from the ground, his mood a bit complicated. If it were not for the harmony of the wind and the water, he might have been ill-advised this time. It stands to reason that he has already lost. However, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Although this is a test related to whether he can be promoted to Zongman, behind him, it represents the entire Cheyenne village. He wanted to admit defeat, but he couldn't easily admit defeat. Hefeng. Hefeng answered this question without hesitation. Did the use of sand iron armor minimize the damage I caused? Speaking of which, Gara used similar moves during the Zongman exam. Hefeng, I remember your name. You are the strongest opponent I have ever encountered so far. Even I dare to say that in the future, I will never encounter a strong opponent like you. Whether it is combat thinking, actual combat experience, and own strength. You are strong like a monster. If it weren't for your mercy, even with the defense of sand iron armor, I wouldn't be able to withstand such an exaggerated attack. But, 3 generations of Feng took a deep breath and reunited the sand and iron. 80% of the area in our country is desert, and resources are scarce. The entrusted tasks that the village accepts are a very important source of income. So, I must defeat you here and prove to everyone the strength of Cheyenne village. After the 3 generations of Feng said, his hands quickly formed seals. He didn't intend to use this trick. But as he said, he can't lose anyway. Magnetic escape sand iron wing. Advertisement. I saw 3 generations of Feng compress the sand iron with high density and connect it to his back to form a pair of giant bird wings. Soon, the black wings flapped quickly, bursting out a strong wind, spreading towards the surroundings. Even the chief examiner Sarutobi Hizen had to cover the wind and sand with his arms. In full view, the 3 generations of Feng soared into the sky. Sand iron wing is a technique used for aerial combat. It can launch iron and sand feathers from the center of the wings for long-range attacks. 3 generations of Feng shared this ninjutsu information with Hefeng, which was regarded as a return to the merciful Shenglongquan he had just underneath. Hefeng, be careful. Not only are the sand iron feathers so fast that they are difficult to catch with the eyes, but each feather also has the ability to track. Just when the wind hit him, his skin was stained with fine iron sand particles. Therefore, the 3 generations of Feng do not need to deliberately aim. As long as they release the sand iron feathers, they will attack Hefeng. This trick is the strongest ninjutsu I can use so far. Hefeng, let's use it to fight you against you. The reason why Feng of the 3rd generation is unwilling to use this trick is because once this trick is exposed, other ninjas will record sand iron nai. For the future of the 3 generations of Feng, there is actually no good. But, Hefeng is not only a respectable opponent, but also a formidable opponent. The most important is, the gentle breeze in the Duman state, the movement speed far exceeds his own sand iron. The defense of sand and iron cannot keep up with the speed of the breeze, so it is meaningless. On the contrary, this method of fighting in the air can effectively limit the gentle physical skills. On the cinema, Toying Shihei couldn't help but exclaimed, he can fly. There are only a handful of ninjas that can fly in the entire ninja world. And the flying ninja can have a sufficient tactical advantage. Hefeng hadn't solved the 3 generations of Feng with that punch just now, and there would be no chance again. Yeah, Feng Lidu nodded in response. He had specifically explained before the exam that techniques such as sand iron nai could not be used if they were not used. After all, the contest between ninjas is a contest on intelligence. Now in order to defeat Hefeng, the 3 generations of Feng handed over his biggest hole card. Now, the situation is unfavorable for Hefeng. Zhu Jian and Fei Jian had almost the same thoughts. He didn't know how Hefeng would deal with the next attack of the 3 generations of Feng Ying. But, the gentle breeze standing on the puddle was not embarrassed. Because he had known for a long time that the 3 generations of Feng Ying had such a hole card. I will also remember your name. Chapter 74 Why don't I go bankrupt and buy peace and win? Advertisement. The battle between Hefeng and the 3 generations of Feng Ying has entered a white-hot stage. 3 generations of Feng Ying used the sand iron wing to fly into the air, keeping a sufficient distance from the wind, so that his physical skills could not attack him. Then, 3 generations of Feng Ying unreservedly shot out iron feathers, trying to force Hefeng to surrender. For a time, flying feathers all over the sky. Even Sarutobi Hizen, who served as the chief examiner, did not expect that the 3 generations of Feng Ying would use such a terrible technique to dodge a cold sweat for the wind at the same time. But, although the attacks of the 3 generations of Feng Ying are sharp, Hefeng has a certain advantage in speed. At the moment when the three generations of Feng shot the flying feathers, Hefeng opened the door again and moved at high speed in the examination room to avoid the opponent's attacks one by one. Of course, Hefeng knows it in his heart. If the situation is allowed to continue, he will only be consumed by three generations of Feng in vain. It's time to end this battle. While talking, he winds his hands to form two water bodies. Soon, the three winds quickly dispersed, and both hands were sealed at the same time. Water escape water dragon bullet technique. The clear spring was surging, and three water dragons quickly changed, twisting their bodies wantonly, and chasing the three generations of wind shadows in the sky. But, Hefeng doesn't think that his water dragon bullet technique can cause any damage to the three generations of Feng who manipulates sand iron. His real purpose is actually to use the power of the water dragon to expose the flaws of the three generations of Feng. The two water bodies of Hefeng are responsible for the feint. I saw the two water bodies jumped onto the water dragon, and opened the life gate of the 8-door Dunjia to increase the speed of movement. With a breath of effort, the two water bodies of the wind rushed to the left and right of the third generation of Feng. They rotated their bodies at the same time, and swept their whip legs. Although the water body can only exert 1/10 of the power of the body, it is still a difficult opponent for the three generations of Feng. In desperation, the three generations of Feng could only shake the wings of sand and iron, like swatting flies, patted the two water bodies of Hefeng towards the ground. However, the three water dragons opened their blood basins and bite at Sandai Feng. Is this the real purpose? The three generations of Feng suddenly realized that Hefeng wanted to use the water body to force itself to open the sand and iron wings, so that the body would be completely exposed on the front of the water dragon bomb. But, you still underestimated my manipulation of sand and iron. Although the three generations of Feng admire Hefeng's tactical mind, he can think of such a combat method in an instant, but... Advertisement. His control of sand and iron must be more flexible. Three generations of Feng instantly retracted the sand iron wings, curled up, and wrapped himself tightly with the sand iron defenses. In this way, the water dragon bullet technique of the gentle breeze can only hit his sand and iron defense. No harm can be done. But actually, this is also in the calculation of Hefeng. He first blocked the retreat route of the three generations of Feng with two water bodies, forcing the three generations of Feng to have to defend against the water dragon bomb. You know, although the water dragon bomb technique is only AB level ninjutsu, its power is not small. No ninja would be stupid enough to let it hit himself. Combined with the three generations of Feng as the magnetic escape ninja. Then his perfect response is naturally to transform the sand iron into a sphere to wrap himself. In Naruto Shippuden, Gaara uses this method to defend against Delata's art. Everything turned out to be the same as Hefeng expected. Faced with a similar situation, the three generations of Feng made the same judgment as Gaara. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. The gentle wind combat power in the Jingmun state was fully opened, and the ground under his feet was torn apart because he couldn't bear his eruption. The impact spread in all directions. Boom. Accompanied by a sonic boom, the gentle breeze leapt high and caught up with the three generations of Feng in the air, staying behind him in the air. Considering that the three generations of Feng had defensive ninjutsu like sand iron armor, Hefeng decided not to show mercy anymore. He grabbed a fist with 5 fingers, aimed at the center of Feng back, and covered the chakra between the pillars on his fist. Cherry blossoms. At the moment of punching, Hefeng opened the half-buffered king gate once again, and combined with the strange power, the attack power was instantly full. The sand iron that wrapped the three generations of wind shadow hit the ground like a meteor, and the deafening sound resounded throughout the Zongan examination room. Rumble. The thick smoke rolls upwards, like a mushroom cloud in full bloom. The entire examination room was suddenly silent. Everyone held their breath, their eyes widened, staring at the mushroom cloud, and couldn't wait to know the situation of the three generations of Feng. I won't die. Sarutobi Hizen, the chief examiner, rolled his throat and swallowed nervously. He made 3 moves and 2 moves, wanting to confirm the status of the three generations of Feng. Advertisement. Although injuries and deaths are allowed in the Zongjin exam, such things can be avoided or should be avoided as much as possible. At the same time, the gentle breeze fell, and before his heels stood firm, he thumped and sat on the ground, then lifted the 8 doors Dunjia and took a big breath. He raised his head slightly and looked at the position of the third generation Feng. The mushroom cloud gradually dispersed, exposing the body of Feng 3 generations. Sand and iron were scattered on the ground, while the third generation Feng lay upright in a half-meter deep pit, motionless. Soon, Sarutobi Hizen walked to Sandai Feng's side, and then squatted down. He stretched out his index and middle fingers and placed them on Sandai Feng's neck. The arteries are still beating. He is still alive. Medical personnel. Worried that Feng's body would deteriorate further, Sarutobi hurriedly shouted. It wasn't until this moment that Konoha's medical staff reacted, hurriedly trot over with the stretcher, and then carefully put the third generation Feng on the stretcher. No doubt, the 3 generations of Feng who had fainted were no longer able to fight Hefeng. Seeing this, Sarutobi hurriedly walked to Hefeng's side and motioned for him to stand up. Then, Sarutobi grabbed Hefeng's wrist, raised his arm, and toward the audience and cinema seats, announcing the result of the first round of the official game. I declare that the breeze from Konaha Hidden Village has won this competition. After a brief silence, thunderous applause broke out from the audience, as well as cheers for the breeze. This is definitely the most exciting Zongan exam they have ever seen. Whether it is a Japanese style, or 3 generations of Feng. They are all very good and powerful ninjas. The key is, the odds of Hefeng and Fengying of the third generation are almost 1 to 5. Many people have made a lot of money because of the victory of the breeze. Among them, including a certain person in the cinema. Ooh, I did not expect Hefeng to win. Seeing this, he comforted him and patted the shoulder of the pillar, hoping that he would not be so emotional. There are still so many people watching. However, just when Feijian thought his elder brother Zuma was for the victory of the wind, and felt excited. You don't know, in the middle of the day, I will buy a piece of 10,000 taels to win, and that's an odds of 5 for 1. Damn it, why don't I go bankrupt and buy peace and win? Chapter 75 Join if you can't beat it. Recommendation ticket. Advertisement. 3 generations of Fengying, lost. Feng Ying Lidu's eyes widened, his mouth hesitant to speak. I thought that the third generation of Fengying could easily defeat the wind after using the sand iron Nai. As a result, I never expected that such a dramatic reversal would happen. The disciple he cultivated with one hand, lost. And still lost to Konaha Hidden Village, a 7-year-old Sha Ren. This is impossible. Lidu rubbed his eyes, unable to accept this fact. However, Hefeng did win the first round of the official competition. The chief examiner Sarutobi Hizen, using a volume that was sufficient for everyone to hear, announced the victory of the Japanese wind. Looking at the 3 generations of Fengying being carried away on a stretcher by medical staff. Lidu's mood was like a huge rock falling into the center of the lake, ripples appeared, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. The key is, 3 generations of Fengying neither underestimated the enemy, nor released water. Even the biggest trump card, Sand Iron Nai, used it to deal with the wind. But he still lost to Zefeng. This is enough to show that there is a gap in the hard power of the 2 sides. The grandson between the pillars. Lido clenched his fists involuntarily, and his heart was full of envy, jealousy and hatred towards Zujian. It's really a wonderful contest. Tying Shihei on the side slowly said with emotion. Whether it is tactics, or the power they possess, they must far exceed their peers. Even, in some respects, it is better than Zhang Ren, and even Shang Ren. If you hadn't witnessed it with your own eyes, it would be hard for Tying Shihei to believe that this would be a battle between Shonen versus Shonen. And, the gentle breeze is also good. 3 generations of Fengying. As the most excellent Sha Ren in the village, it is undoubtedly the most important stone. As long as it is meticulously crafted, the future will surely be promising. Be the shadow of their village. Especially the grandson of Lord Naruto, his future will definitely leave a strong mark in the history of ninja world. Tying Shihei asserted so. As a hero who built Yinyan village by one hand, Shihei has never been a person with a small belly. Although he envied Zujian's ability to give birth to such a grandson, he still praised the gentle wind from the bottom of his heart. The only thing that makes Tying Shihei regret. This time I was invited to Konaha Hidden Village to serve as the judge of the Zongan exam, but Onogi was not brought along. Advertisement. I really want Onogi to see this battle. It will definitely help him grow. Ha ha ha. There was a hearty laugh between the pillars. Although he was a little bit disappointed by the fact that he only bought 10,000 taels to buy and win wins, he quickly suppressed this emotion. In any case, Sha Ren who won the first round is his grandson. What's more, there are still 7 rounds of competition. I got off to a good start as soon as I came up today, which shows that I have good luck. Just buy a little more for the next few games. Master Toying has a good reputation. Hefeng is only 7 years old this year, which is far from it. Zhu Jian said with a big smile. Especially when Hefeng was only 7 years old, he smiled very happily. Lido and Shihi turned their heads, staring at the pillars with black lines on their faces. It's like 100 elephants running wild in my heart. What a talent. A good one is only 7 years old. But in any case, it is an undeniable fact that Hefeng is only 7 years old this year. The talent he possesses is enough to describe with the word monster. Just think about what you were doing when you were 7 years old. These famous shadows will have a feeling that people are more dead than people. The key is, they were born in the Warring States period. The ninja world at that time, I don't know how much crueler than it is now. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The average lifespan of a ninja is only about 30 years old. It is because the child died prematurely on the battlefield. Anyone who can survive has a keen intuition, a flexible mind, and excellent skills. This also means that the ninja in the war period should be better than the peace period. But even so, in the cognition of these film-level powerhouses, there is no genius ninja from the Warring States period, who can compare with the current Hefeng. If Kase is thrown on the battlefield of ninja fighting each other, then his growth rate. Lidu and Shihei couldn't help but stun in their hearts. Just thinking about this kind of thing makes them feel terrible. Gentle style. Fei Jian said the name silently in his heart. Although he restrained his emotions in order to maintain his image, in fact, his heart was extremely excited. When seeing the 3 generations of Fengying soaring into the sky, even he felt that he would lose. Because he really couldn't think of how the 7-year-old Hefeng would come back to deal with the strange skills of the 3 generations of Fengying. Result. Hefeng used his strength abruptly to slap his second grandfather in the face. But there is one thing to say. This face is good. That's so cool. I wished that the breeze pressed my face to the ground and pumped it with the sole of my shoe. Of course, this is just a metaphor. Advertisement. A metaphor to describe the excitement in the room. Even Janjian has made up his mind to let Konoha's senior executives be promoted and the wind will be forbearance. He led a small team to perform the task. Recently, Union Village has some activities on the border. Jian shook his head and temporarily put the matter aside. After all, the Zongnan exam is not over yet. There are still 7 rounds of competition to go on. My grandson Hefeng has the capital of Hokage. The excitement on his face between the pillars made him more convinced of this matter in his heart. However, what caused the pillars to dream is that the next test opened his nightmare today. As a gambling hobby, he will naturally not miss any bets. At the same time, in the auditorium, the members of the Uchiha clan were all stunned, and the old patriarch was shocked and opened the 3 Guyu writing round eyes. Good guys. He is a good guy. Although the Senju clan in the Sengoku period was tricky, the Uchiha clan was not bad either. Why did Uchiha pull his hips starting from between the pillars? The genius ninja of the clan, Uchiha Senna, was killed in a flash. The genius ninja in the clan, Madara Uchiha, lost to the pillar several times. Now there is another gentle breeze. Kill their genius ninja with one move, Uchiha Satsuna. Mirror. The old patriarch Uchiha took a deep breath and turned to look at the Uchiha mirror who was sitting next to him. Do you think you are compared with that Japanese style? Originally, he wanted to ask the mirror whether he was sure to win the piece. It doesn't matter if there is age suppression. But as soon as he said this, he himself felt outrageous. Forget it, shut up. Uchiha mirror. I haven't said anything yet, patriarch. However, when he thought that the patriarch wanted to compare himself with monsters like Hefeng, he thought it would be better to treat him as if he hadn't heard anything. And the old patriarch Uchiha almost thought about all the names he could think of. Turn out, no one of the dignified Uchiha clan can fight against the wind. Wait, the Uchiha Kodo family seems to have a daughter about the age of Japanese style. Suddenly, the old patriarch Uchiha's eyes lit up, and he remembered the policy of encouraging intermarriage between the Sensho tribe and foreign tribes. Chapter 76 End of the Nakanin exam. Advertisement. The next few ninja exams, compared with the battle between Hefeng versus 3 generations of Fengying, looked flat. On the contrary, it brings out the terrifying power of Hefeng and the 3 generations of Fengying. For a time, the name Hefeng became a topic after everyone's leisure time. Fame. But, as the grandfather of Hefeng, between the pillars, his emotions were a little lost. When the Zongren exam was over, he slumped in a chair, doubting his life. Except for the one with the breeze, in the other exams, the pillars were perfectly evasive. The total amount of money lost is 300,000 taels. Okay, brother, now is not the time when you are emotionally depressed. As the Hokage of Konoha Hidamura, you still have the job of entertaining other movies. Fei Jian whispered in the ear between the pillars, reminding him that he should distinguish the priority. What's more, a mere 300,000 taels, it just sounds like a lot. In fact, an A-level commission task can almost get so many rewards. You're right, the pillars nodded, suppressing the feeling of disappointment caused by losing money. As said in the door, he is the shadow of this village. You should treat Master Fengying and Master Toying well. However, just when Zhu Jian was about to leave the shadow seat, he seemed to suddenly think of something important, and looked back at Fu Jian's face. In the interim, did you place a bet? Although unlike myself, I don't have a hobby of gambling, but occasionally I am happy to gamble. The key is, all the bets on the Zongnan exam were opened by Konoha executives. It can not only entertain the public, but also increase economic income. For Konoha Hidden Village, who is waiting to be thriving, there is no reason to miss such an opportunity. Like the 300,000 taels that I lost, it also contributed to Konoha's income generation. So Zhu Jian felt that Fei Jian should be involved. Well, I bought a little bit. Responded. There is nothing to hide from this kind of thing. You know, even details such as odds are designed by hand. How much did you win? Based on his bet and the set odds, he made an estimate, and then came to the conclusion, it's probably more than 6 million taels. Advertisement. Between the columns. Except for the first game and the column, all bet on the win to win. For the remaining few games, they all chose anti-buy. Although he is addicted to gambling between the pillars, more often than not, he will lose every time he gambles. I knew, I should buy more. He couldn't help but complain, he felt that he was still too conservative. But no matter what, I'm not interested in money. This money is just for the entertainment of Fengying and Toying this time. I thought about the purpose of the money in my heart. When the mood between the pillars was lost again, are you hitting all 8 games? In the meantime, you really have the ability to place bets. Are you talented? Fei Jian shook his head, he didn't think he had any talents. Brother, you may not be the light in the betting area. Fei Jian reached out his hand, patted the shoulder of the pillar, and said, but you are the carrier of light. Leaving this sentence, I brushed shoulders with Zhu Jian, busy to entertain other movies. The pillars froze in place, thinking over and over again. In the end, he comprehended the central idea from this sentence. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. You guy, did you deliberately buy it differently from me? The lounge of the Nakanin selection examination room. Sarutobi and Shumo opened the door together to congratulate Hefeng. Congratulations, Zefeng. Although Hefeng can be promoted to Zongnan, it will not be known until Master Fei Jian is summoned. But from Sarutobi's point of view, both Hefeng's combat thinking and actual combat experience already possess the level of Zhang Ren. He really couldn't think of a reason why Master Fei Jian would refuse to be promoted to Hefeng. It's just that Sarutobi is not quite clear about waiting for K's to become a true Nakanin. He continued to stay in the 7th class to perform tasks with them. He will still be appointed as the captain of the ninja army. Captain. Shuamao was startled, wondering if he had heard something wrong. Hefeng this year, only 7 years old, right? Although he did perform amazingly in the official competition of Zongnan exams and should be promoted to Zongnan, he led the ninja army. It's a bit of a fantasy. A 7-year-old captain. Indeed, Hefeng is still young now, and there is still a lot to learn. Advertisement. However, according to the normal procedure, a ninja who is promoted to Zongnan will be assigned to some subordinates and then perform tasks. This is both a trial and an assessment. Only after passing the first assessment after becoming Zhongren, can he truly enter this level. The reason why Sarutobi told Hefeng this matter in advance was that he hoped that he could prepare mentally in advance. So it's like this. Hefeng suddenly realized it, and recalled Sasuke's pursuit. It was the first task received after Nara Shikamaru became Zongnan, and he will be the captain, responsible for recovering Sasuke. At that time, Tsunade used the reason for the shortage of manpower in the village of Konaha, but now it seems that that task should be an assessment of Shikamaru. Assessment task. Hefeng muttered to himself, and was full of expectations for the assessment task mentioned by Sarutobi. No matter what the content of the assessment is, he will do it well. Then, the distance becomes the goal of the 3 generations of Hokage, and it goes one step further. At the same time, the ward of Konaha Hospital. 3 generations of Feng slowly opened his eyes, and the white ceiling caught his eyes. Immediately afterwards, he felt a sharp pain in his brain. He wanted to hold his forehead, but found that his hands and feet could not move at all. You're awake. A young girl with short purple hair noticed that the 3rd generation Feng opened her eyes, and immediately walked to the bed, beckoning him not to move. Fortunately, he was not fatally injured in the Zongnan exam, but was in a coma for a while. You need to rest now. The girl helped him cover the quilt and comforted him not to blame himself. In that contest, his performance was extremely brilliant. Any ninja who has seen that battle will not despise the 3 generations of Feng. Especially Feng fighting. But I. Still lost. 3 generations of Feng bit her lip, and her heart was full of unwillingness. He hated his weakness so much for the first time. If I can complete that technique, maybe I can. The eyes of the 3 generations of Feng focused on the girl. In fact, the technique he was talking about was exactly the sand and iron world method. However, it is a pity that the 3 generations of Feng have just figured out this technique, and it has not been able to be used in actual combat. When we return to the village, let's conduct actual combat training, okay? The girl showed a knowing smile and made a promise to the boy in front of her. 3 generations of Feng's expression was slightly stunned, and then nodded. This time I must complete that technique, and then, challenge Hefeng again, Sister Chio. Chapter 77 Me, Japanese Style, 7-year-old Konoha Nakanen. Advertisement. A week later, the Hokage building. Under the guidance of Onbi Ninja, Kazuka came to the door of Hokage's office. He knew very well in his heart that today is the day to announce whether he can be promoted to Zongren. Although his battle with the 3 generations of Feng was extremely exciting and won. To this day, there are still people who talk about it after dinner. But, as to whether they can be promoted to Zongren, the result of the judgment is neither winning or losing nor fame. This kind of vague judgment method can easily be mixed with personal emotions. In other words, it is very likely that Feijian refused to be promoted to Zhongren on the grounds that he was gentle and young. Speaking of which, this policy is very similar to a certain ministry. The wind can't help but recall before crossing. When he was boring at school, he once wrote an online novel, but he suffered a 404 because of the supernatural elements involved. But a certain ministry doesn't say how to review the standards. I think you have a problem, so you have a problematic attitude. And once there is no so-called standard, someone's power will be infinitely magnified. However, if I become Naruto, I probably won't reform the Zongnan exam. Of course, Hefeng is just complaining in the heart. He did not intend to change this method of evaluation to promotion if you win. He even feels that this method is very beneficial to the Konoha high-rise. If there is a strong family in the village, you can use this method to limit the number of people promoted to Zongnan. In the final analysis, whether to be promoted to Zongnan is a matter of Hokage. But you can't become Zhongren, the follow-up special Shangren, take on the role of Shangren, elite Shangren, Onbi, don't even think about it. The more you think about it, the more Hefeng feels it's a faint means. Very clever. Boom boom. Just as he was thinking about it, the Anbu ninja beside him helped him knock on the door of the Naruto office. Please come in. After the permission from the door came out from inside, the Onbi ninja pushed the door open. Thank you. Hefeng politely expressed his thanks, and then walked into the Hokage office swaggeringly. He looked around and found that this place was simpler than he thought. The decoration is much simpler than during the period when Sarutobi Hizen was in Naruto. Advertisement. And on the table in the room, there are a lot of documents piled up. It's no wonder. Although Feijian usually speaks a little harshly with Zujian, he loves Zujian very much in his heart. Not inferior to Uchiha Madara or Uzumaki Mito. Now that the pillars are suffering from despair, he naturally does not want his eldest brother to worry about the trivial matters of the village anymore. On the other hand, during Sarutobi's reign, there were people such as Zhuan Shaochun, Mito Menyan, and Shimura Danzo to assist. Helped Sarutobi to share a lot of problems. But the current Konoha hidden village is a waste of time, and the younger generation has not yet grown up. Naturally, I can't find any suitable people to share my work. Gentle style. With a low voice, sitting in the position of Hokage, crossing his fingers and squeezing his elbows to the edge of the table, his body deliberately leaned forward, looking directly at the gentle facial features. You should know what I am looking for, right? Quote. Yeah. Feng nodded, stepped forward, raised his chest and stood upright. It's for the promotion of Zhang Ren. Not bad. Feijian said that it was so, and then pulled out Hefeng's personal information from the pile of files, and he glanced at it symbolically. You are indeed a very good shinin, and I personally tend to promote you to Zongnan. But, read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. There was a deliberate pause in the door. But, Hefeng frowned slightly. Once he couldn't talk about it at this time, I'm afraid it would be useless. But you are only 7 years old this year, and there is still a long way to go in the future. There is no need to rush for a while, so I hope you can seriously consider whether you want to be promoted to Zongren. Once you become a ninja, the mission you will receive will be level B or higher. A ninja like Troy will often encounter it in future missions. Not only that, you also need to have sufficient leadership skills to let your subordinates obey your command, unite them, and complete the tasks assigned to you by the village. Although Fei Jian felt that all the conditions in Hefeng were enough to serve as Zhang Ren, he was after all Zhu Jian's pro-grandson. If he is not ready, this matter might as well put it off for a while. I hope Hefeng can be rebellious. Although the kind of child who is submissive will be praised by the adults, usually, the adults don't expect much of that kind of child. Not to mention, the expectation of the gentle breeze in the interim, but the shadow of the future in the village. There is nothing to consider about this matter. If I think I'm not ready to become Zongren, then I won't take this exam from the beginning. Said in a gentle voice, swearing his determination. I passed both exams by myself, if I retreat here. How bad is my psychological endurance? Advertisement. On the other hand, Hefeng also obtained important information from the mouth of the door. My second grandfather seems to be planning to perform the next task as the captain of the ninja troop. Thinking of this, Hefeng added another sentence. I do what I say, this is my forbearance. In fact, this shindo belongs to Naruto. The current Japanese style didn't even think about what his shindo was, but thought Naruto's remarks were good, so he used it. Not to mention, it's pretty easy to use. When Hefeng said this, a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. Noting the gentleness of this detail, I couldn't help but sigh in my heart. As expected, he is a ninja who is good at mouthing. His lines seem to be very lethal. In fact, what I really want is just a gentle attitude and determination. In that case, he patted his hands on the table again, and stood up directly. Then I will make an official announcement in the name of acting as Naruto. From today, you are Konoha's Zongren. The breeze froze in place for a while. Although he guessed that this might be the result, he was surprised when he heard the official appointment. Kazuo, 7 years old, Konoha Nakanen. Well, you guys come in too. But shortly afterwards, the line of sight from the door crossed the breeze and focused on the door of the office. Following his personal order, the office door opened again. Hefeng turned his head subconsciously and saw a few ninjas slowly approaching. Almost, they were all familiar faces. Uchiha Mirror. Flagwood Shumao. As well as that person, Maruhoshi Kosuke. Hefeng carefully identified it before he recognized the ninja standing at the back. At the same time, Jian said loudly. From today, you will form the 7th squad, with Hefeng as the captain. Your first task is, guard the border. Chapter 78. I understand it now, not at all. Advertisement. After the formal appointment of Hefeng, the first task was given. Let him, as the captain, lead the 3 of Uchiha Kagami, Hagi Sakumo, and Maruhoshi Kosuke to the border post to be responsible for the work of patrol and defense. Although the 5 great ninja villages signed a peace agreement with the advancement of the pillars, undercurrents surging along the border of the village. Every ninja wants to spy on important information about other ninja villages. The key is, the shadows who can build Shinobu village with one hand are all heroes of one party. Both the strength and the mind are extremely good. Every shadow is very clear in his heart. The so-called peace has a time limit. And this period is the lifespan between the columns. In particular, Union Village has been strengthening frontier defense forces after suffering a terminal illness between the pillars. Some time ago, they even sent a ninja like Troy to snatch Uzumaki Yuna. The mind has always been flexible, so naturally it will not do nothing. There are 2 main reasons for letting the breeze pass this time. The first reason is to strengthen the strength of the border post and reach a balance with Union Village. The second reason is that he hopes Hefeng can understand the operation of border defenses and their importance. When Hefeng becomes Hokage in the future, he will be able to deal with this problem easily. Of course, this idea will not be said in the beginning. Because he hoped that Hefeng could use his little head to penetrate his own intentions. And I believe that Hefeng will not let myself down. Guarding the northern border, a hint of surprise flashed in Hefeng's eyes, and he didn't expect that his first mission for promotion to Zongnan would be this. If I remember correctly, the country bordering the northern border should be the Land of Thunder. Hefeng recalled the territory of Naruto and made an inference. The Land of Thunder is located in the northeast of the Fire Land, and the Land of the Earth is located in the northwest. So the opponent he will face this time is either the ninja of Union Village or the ninja of Yenian Village. At the same time, considering that Toying Shihei had just been invited to participate in the Zongnan exam held in Konoha Village. Union Village tried to kidnap Uzumaki Yuna to study the secrets of the Uzumaki family. Feng guessed that he wanted to make himself cope with Union Village's movements. The key is, on the surface, the arrangement of the door is to rise and fall, kicking himself out of the center of the village and dispatching to the frontier. But you have to know, who is in front of you. It's his second grandfather. Own people. Advertisement. As far as this level of relationship is concerned, how could he use the means of rising and falling to himself? Let's talk about it again. I am only 7 years old this year, and I am still a very cute kid. Whoever is a grandfather would not like a grandson like himself. I understand. Suddenly, Feng suddenly realized, Grandpa Fei Jian should be a border ninja who wants me to suppress Union Village. A warning about their attempt to kidnap Nina. After calmly analyzing Hefeng, after a little thought, he saw through the plan. At least, he thinks so. Then, Feng glanced at the men behind him. Uchiha Kami is a genius ninja with a riding wheel, and his pupil skills have a full advantage in jungle combat. This is clearly a configuration that allows you to make trouble. Just, Feng looked at Shuamao and Gusuk again. However, on the premise of making troubles, the strength of these two individuals is not too weak, they are still forbearing. In this way, Hefeng completely misunderstood his intentions under the circumstances. Read more at hotmtl novel.zi. When shall we leave? Feng looked like he had understood it completely, and asked Feijian. He can't wait to get involved. This is not in a hurry. Take a good break today and leave early tomorrow morning. As for the border post, I have already said hello. Replied in the door. In fact, a border post can be configured with more than 4 people. In addition to the new 7th class led by Hefeng. There are also 9 ninjas at the border post. 8 of them are Zongren and 1 is Shangren. The real purpose of Feijian is to let Hefeng understand the operation of border defense. After staying there for a month or 2, he was transferred back. At that time, if Hefeng performs well, he can find any reason to promote him to the elite. Yes, Master Feijian. Hefeng nodded, indicating that he fully understood, and then planned to leave here with Uchiha Kage and others. But when Hefeng walked to the door of the office, he stopped him again. What's the matter, Master Shujian? At 8 o'clock tonight, come to the exercise site. The voice was low and quiet. Tomorrow Hefeng will go to the border post to perform his mission. Advertisement. Although he has learned the technique of water body, the flaws of this ninjutsu are very obvious. Although the clone is an entity, it can only exert 1/10 of the power of the body. And a certain distance away from the body will be forced to release. It's time to use your own skills to spur peace. 8 o'clock in the evening. Okay, I see. Hefeng confirmed the time again, full of expectations. Presumably, it should be a small stove for myself. Correct. When Hefeng thought of the small stove, he suddenly remembered that the cooling time of his punch card seemed to be over again. He glanced at it quickly, and there were 10 minutes left before the cooldown occurred, and he was ready to punch the card for the 5th time. I don't know what kind of rewards can be drawn from the punch card package this time. Hefeng took a deep breath, ready to go home to complete the clock, and then take a good rest. Thinking about this, Hefeng left here. The door of the Naruto office also closed. However, just when there was only one person left in the whole room, a figure appeared by the window of the office. He is no one else, he is the original Hokage, Senjujuma. He stood on the balcony outside, leaning on the wall with his back, arms around his chest, and looked up at the blue sky. Is this really good? Although he can understand the concerns in Feijian, Hefeng is only 7 years old this year. Such a quick promotion of the wind makes Ma Zujian a little worried. This will not be good for the growth of Hefeng. There are some things he has to face sooner or later. Feijian turned his back to the pillar, and said without thinking. In fact, I feel that what I lack most now is time. Although the eldest brother Zuma looks good, his terminal illness may deteriorate at any time. Once he is here, Konaha, which has the most fertile land, is likely to be besieged by other shinobu villages. As the second generation of Hokage, he must cultivate the next generation who can be entrusted to the will of fire before that. Not only must have enough strength, flexible mind, but also a certain prestige. Otherwise, if you die on the battlefield, it is inevitable that the Uchiha clan will not deal with the wind. I heard that there are people who inherit Madaras will in the Uchiha clan. Feijian reminded him intentionally. Spot. Chapter 79. I want to use my ninjutsu to spur you. Recommendation ticket. Advertisement. From the Hokage building, Hefeng ran home all the way. Close the doors and windows of the bedroom, and the wind starts to punch in for the 5th time. The cooling time of the check-in system is over. Close black lens bracket. Please confirm with the host. Do you check in? Close black lens bracket. Do you still have to ask? Of course it is yes. Then. Hefeng sat cross-legged on the tatami, folded his hands together, and started his metaphysical operation. I would like to use Uchiha Madara's 10-year lifespan to exchange for the European Emperor blood. But, Hefeng's mentality is much more relaxed this time. He was naturally delighted to be able to get good things from the punch card package. Emperor has been so many times before, this time it doesn't matter if it is not a chief. Hefeng talks to himself and relaxes his mind. Check in successfully. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the host for getting the punch-in package. Close black lens bracket. Whether to open now. Close black lens bracket. Turn on. Hefeng confirms in his mind, and now he is familiar with these processes. Accompanied by open black lens bracket check in package open. Prompt tone. All kinds of ninjutsu, blood succession limit, like a revolving lantern, flashed quickly in front of Hefeng's eyes. Open black lens bracket snapped. Close black lens bracket. With the effort of 2 breaths, the picture freezes and shines with a dazzling light. Congratulations to the host, get a Naruto exclusive gift pack from the check-in package. Close black lens bracket. Zefeng. What the hell? Naruto exclusive spree. What is this again? Can only be used by Naruto. Can you still get a Naruto from the package? Suddenly become a development game. That shouldn't be given to Naruto either. Anyway, give it to Hinata, Kushina, Keigai or something. Whether to open Naruto exclusive gift package. Close black lens bracket. Turn on. Feng spit out in his heart, and then chose to turn it on. Although I don't know the situation, I won't give birth to the gift package. But, when the gift pack was completely clocked in, Feng figured out that he was completely out of it. The gift package is open. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the host, get rewards. Shadow Doppelganger LV10, Helix Pill LV10. Close black lens bracket. Advertisement. Oh, seeing the rewards from the gift pack, Feng suddenly reacted. The so-called exclusive actually refers to exclusive ninjutsu. Although in Naruto, these 2 ninjutsu were not invented by Naruto, they have always been standard equipment for his opponents. Said it is exclusive, there is nothing worth complaining about. The key is, although there are only 2 types of ninjutsu obtained this time, they are very powerful. Such is the art of shadow clone. It is an entity clone created by using chakra. It not only has the consciousness independent of the caster's body, but also has a certain ability to resist. After removing the shadow clone, the memories and experience gained by the clone can return to the body. And unlike the water body technique, there is a distance limit. For Hefeng's next mission, it will be of great help. Not to mention the spiral pill. Since Naruto learned this ninjutsu, the enemies he encountered were basically solved by Helix Maru. And based on the spiral pill, Naruto is even more. Deu spiral pill, super large jade spiral pill, Tai Chi spiral pill, and many more. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi and many more. It is no exaggeration to say that mastering the 2 styles of ninjutsu, the strength has been qualitatively improved. Let's imagine. Feng couldn't help taking a breath, and was shocked by his own brain. Although there are not many chakras in his body, there are chakras between the pillars. Randomly create 180 shadow clones, and then let them open the door, and then use the spiral pill to bomb. Feng feels sour and refreshing just thinking about that picture. But the words came back. Soon, Feng couldn't help but shook his head. 180 shadow clones opened the 8 doors Dunjia together. After the shadow clones are released, I am afraid that I will be exhausted. Thinking of this, Hefeng was forced to give up this tactic. It's almost 8 o'clock. Feng glanced at the time and recalled the appointment he had made with Fei, so he opened the window and ran to the agreed exercise field. Sure enough, he was standing in front of the wooden stakes with his arms around his chest. It seems that I have been waiting here for a while. You are here, gentle breeze. As soon as I saw the breeze, my voice was low and his expression became more serious than usual. Well, here I am. How do you feel that this conversation is weird? Feng couldn't help but complain. Tomorrow you will leave the village and go to the border post. There was a pause, in order to let you complete the task better, so I plan to use my ninjutsu to spur you. From the perspective of Fei Jian, the water body art, whether it is actual combat or the exploration of intelligence, can't be compared with my own shadow avatar art. Advertisement. Therefore, he planned to teach Feng his shadow clone technique tonight. Shadow clone art. Feng couldn't help being startled. He didn't expect that Fei Jian really planned to teach herself the shadow clone art. However, it is a pity. Now I don't need to learn the shadow avatar art anymore. Because of him, I have completely mastered it. Yes, this is the ninjutsu I created. The chakras of the body are divided equally to create an entity clone with independent consciousness. When the ninjutsu is released, the memory of the clone will return to the body. It is no exaggeration to say that there is no better ninjutsu than the shadow clone in the work of espionage. And the one who invented it is me. When he said this sentence, the tone of the door was full of pride. He firmly believes that no one will remain indifferent after hearing such a description. Especially for 7-year-olds like Hefeng. This is undoubtedly a huge temptation. However, what made Fei Jian never dream of was, after he finished speaking, Feng stood there calmly. Just say something perfunctorily. Oh, that's amazing. Between the door. Didn't you make it clear? Still did not understand Hefeng. But wrong, isn't he a genius? Hefeng, don't you understand? I mean, the shadow clone technique is a technique that can create entity clones. And such a clone not only has the consciousness independent of the ontology, but it can also return its own memory to the ontology. Jian deliberately doubled the volume and emphasized it loudly. Seeing the expectation on the face of Fei Jian, Feng had to stare his eyes wide, desperately widening, staring like a bull's eyes, his mouth opened into an O shape, and he took a breath of exaggeration. Wow, that's amazing. However, this kind of acting that a fool can see through makes Fuji's heart even more mad. Hefeng, does he know how powerful the shadow clone technique is? That was invented by myself. Just when Fei Jian was frantically complaining about the reaction of the wind in his heart. Feng put away his smile, crossed his fingers with both hands, and made a cross-printing gesture. Then, shadow clone technique. Bang, bang. Bang. With the appearance of white smoke, more than a dozen gentle winds came into view. Between the door, suddenly shocked again. Chapter 80 mission begins. Recommendation ticket. Advertisement. Seeing the Zephyrs who came into view, shocked and sluggish expressions appeared on the face of the door. Calm down and hammer. No matter how horrifying the world is with his natural talent, it would be too ridiculous. I just said roughly what kind of technique the shadow clone is. He didn't even demonstrate it, so he learned it. Hefeng, who taught you the art of shadow clone? It took some time before calm was restored. He calmly analyzed, thought a little, and came to this conclusion. Isn't it Grandpa Fagian? Feng said without thinking. The expression also seems to say that you are teaching me the art of shadow clone right now. I learned it. Of course, in any case, the clock-in system is the foundation of peace and stability. Even if it's a family member like the pillar room or the door room. He won't tell it all. The most important thing is that even if they say it themselves, they probably won't believe it. No, I mean, as soon as Zhangjian was about to shake his head to retort, he was stunned on the spot. He felt as if he understood what Feng meant. You, just listen to me to explain the principle for a little bit, and then, mastered the shadow clone art. His mouth opened slightly, and he looked at Hefeng dumbfounded, and his face was shocked and sluggish. Although the difficulty of learning is much lower than that of development, the shadow avatar is AB level ninjutsu anyway. It took a week for a genius ninja like Sarutobi Hizen to learn. And many more. Should I compare Sarutobi with Japanese wind? Fagian held his forehead, wondering if he was not awake. Sarutobi. Better than the wind. He is also worthy. Although he is his most proud disciple, if the talent he has is compared with the wind, it is not a little bit worse. Without any exaggeration, the difference between Hefeng and Sarutobi is just half a caddy. The breeze is half a caddy of gold and 8 tails of silver. Sarutobi is nothing. Yes, is it difficult? Isn't it enough to distribute the chakras equally? Hefeng replied with his head tilted. And those shadow avatars disappeared one after another in the sound of bang, bang. For Hefeng, this is really not that difficult. It's just a draw from the punch card package. It happened in a flash. Advertisement. Frozen on the spot. Well, one just needs to distribute the chakras equally. It's so easy to say. While assigning chakra to the shadow clone, it can also ensure that both the body and the shadow clone have combat capabilities. Do you know what this concept is? A slight deviation will consume chakras in vain. But having said that, the amount of chakras of the Japanese style is really exaggerated, and it is easy to create a dozen shadow clones. In addition to being shocked, there are more surprises in the interim. Feng is his grandson. It is the man who will inherit the will of fire and become Hokage in the future. The more exaggerated his talent, the more perverted. The more excited I am. This shows that I didn't misunderstand the piece, let alone make a wrong bet. Although this makes myself as an ordinary person sometimes suffer psychological blows. Okay, compared with Hefeng, Fagian started to feel like an ordinary person. It is conceivable that Hefeng's talent has had a great impact on Fagian's heart. Presumably, it's because the wind itself is capable of water body art, so when you touch the shadow clone art, you can understand it by analogy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In the end, I had no choice but to use this possibility to comfort myself. After all, the water body is also an entity clone. It's just that it's not as good as my own developed technique in all aspects. Since you have mastered the shadow clone art, go back and rest. Waiting until tomorrow morning, I will leave for the border post and perform the mission. The door opened to the breeze. Although he thought about whether to teach Shu Fan the Flying Thunder God technique, but after thinking about it, he thinks it is better not to rush for success. Even if he is gifted with gentle breeze, too fast spur, it is easy for him to get confused. What's more, Hefeng is only 7 years old, and it is when he needs enough sleep to grow his body. I see. Hefeng nodded, said goodbye to him, and went home to pack his luggage. But, however, he did not leave for a long time. He watched Hefeng until his tiny figure disappeared. I have to say that Hefeng has given him too many surprises. The strange power released during the Death Forest. Learned the 8 doors Dunjia from Madbo. And on the basis of Jingmun, created a powerful physical technique like Chao Peacock. There is also the Nakanin selection exam. Fei Jian's gaze narrowed slightly, and he was still vividly remembering the Zongren exam. Advertisement. The moment Uchiha's family was killed in a flash with a ninjutsu. After defeating 3 generations of Fengying, he became famous. In Konaha Hidden Village, there are almost no ninjas who don't know Japanese style. And this kind of prestige allows him to be recognized by everyone. I hope Hefeng will grow further after returning from this mission. Muttered to herself, that's right. When Kei's returns, Ayako will almost give birth. Fei Jian recalled his bet with Zhu Jian. If Ayako gave birth to a girl this time, name her Tsunade. I hope Hefeng will carry out the mission smoothly this time. In any case, the mainstream of the ninja world now is peace. Even if Union Village is strengthening border defense forces, they dare not tear up the peace agreement. If everything goes well, during the period of Hefeng's mission, there should be no friction. Of course, in addition to letting Hefeng understand the operation of border defenses, I hope to pass this mission. Let Hefeng and Uchiha mirror establish a deep friendship. Kagi is one of the very few ninjas in the Uchiha clan who are willing to go beyond the limits of the family and work hard for the village. If he can become the head of the Uchiha clan, Not only can the Uchiha clan be guided to contribute to the village, but it can also become a political resource for the Japanese style. How to integrate and guide Uchiha's power is an important part of a movie. After all, you can't kill all the Uchiha clan, right? That's all. Hefeng returned home, packed his luggage, and had a good night's sleep. Until the next morning, Hefeng bid farewell to his parents and went to the gate of Konaha village. Although Hefeng's parents were not able to accept Hefeng at such a young age and went to the border post to perform tasks, but after seeing Hefeng's determination, they could only choose to support. At the gate of Konaha village. Gentle breeze, good morning. Uchiha Kami was the first to arrive here and greeted Hefeng. Although there has been an intersection between them, there is no chance to be alone. Good morning, Mr. Mirror. Hefeng smiled and said, you came really early. Then, in their personal greetings, Tsukumo Hagiki and Kosuke Maruzoshi came here one after another. After the assembly of personnel was complete, they set off to the border post and began their mission this time.